Works for the Bible.
Sometimes I watch TV.
With Joel and Jeremy.
And Dre.
Yeah,
Yes, sir.
All right.
we're going to talk about Dune today. Dune 2021.
The what is it? The fourth or fifth attempt at visualizing Frank Herbert's Dune. I'm
I'd
very
not heard-
unfamiliar
yeah.
with the source material. I'm going to be perfectly honest with you.
What do you know about it, Dre?
Well, I saw the first film uh, back in '84, and that's about it. I liked it. I saw the sequel films, a couple fan made things, but I've never read the books.
So was the 84 film, is that something that, like, having seen the newest one would be worth it to go back and watch? Like, if you're, like, desperate to move the story forward, or...
I mean, it wouldn't move the story forward. It'll provide a lot of
Oh, theirs was a half movie in the
context.
80s, too?
Yeah, it was pretty much the same thing. Pretty much. It was a lot of the same. It covered the same ground for the most part. It went a little further than what they did with this new iteration, but I mean, it's not much further. You
So
know.
was this something you had known about for a while, or is this one you'd only, like, learned about in researching it? You said you saw the old one. Did you see it back in the 80s?
Oh no, I saw it back in the '90s.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I had never,
Uh,
for some
I
reason...
mean, I remember
Dune
seeing
passed
it
me
like the
by.
video store, like the big fat like double cassette like that you could rent, but I never did go for it. I don't know why. I never picked that one up when I was a kid or when I was younger. It was always mildly interesting. I just didn't. I don't know. I didn't know if I wanted to invest. It didn't look all that cool. You know what I mean? Like cool enough to actually pull me in. Like the
So
Beetlejuice
you've
one.
never seen the old one?
I had never seen the old one. This was completely fresh for me. I had never watched or seen
Oh,
any of it. I
okay.
was, like I said, completely unfamiliar with the source material. I was going in with nothing.
I mean, to be fair though, your instincts was correct. I mean, the old one was like, it's one of those things where it's like it's a good story. You know what I mean? But it's not like
Groundbreaking or
no,
new.
it's like right. It's like this is not a new level of cinematic like excellence or nothing.
Okay.
I can honestly see a lot of the influence, like when I looked, because I had to know, I was like, all right, when was this book written actually? Like, so it was like 1965 that the book was written. So that was like before a lot of your Star Wars, and I don't know how
right.
old Star Trek is. You're more familiar with that than I am. Like, when was like the original Star Trek? When did that come out?
I don't know the exact year, but it was definitely in the '70s.
So
But
again,
this Doom was before that.
Dune was before all that. So you could definitely see the influence.
So we need to have a talk with George Lucas about some of his inspirations, because this movie was just like riddled with, and I'm not even a huge Star Wars fan, but like this movie was riddled with Star Wars tropes.
No,
So,
I
like,
think, well, if you got to look at it backwards.
I know, that's what I'm saying.
Right.
Like, it's so obvious in reverse.
The whole
so-
it was weird, 'cause the way he was like using that voice thing, and it was like that's almost got a dark side to it. You know, that
Well,
could go one or two ways.
yeah.
You know what I mean? Like he could use it for good or bad,
It
but
felt-
it doesn't feel like they used it like the Force, to where it's like this overall.
everybody's
like-
achieving to have it. kind of
Right, you know,
thing,
like this
or-
overall thing, but like these certain people could use their voice in a certain tone to make people like, listen to them and do what they want.
Yeah.
Almost
And
like
see
that
that-
Obi-Wan thing where he said
Yeah,
that,
but that's still-
those are
that's
the
the
droids,
Force.
or those aren't.
Yeah,
Yeah, but that's
Joe,
what?
have you seen the original?
No.
No.
Oh, Jesus Christ!
I've seen nothing. This is all I've seen. We watched the trailer the other
Oh.
day, and I was like, I feel like these trailers are showing too much, and turns out they did.
They literally showed the last scene of the movie.
The last line of the movie.
The last line of the movie they showed in
Yeah.
the trailer. This is only the beginning. They said, what's her name? Zidania? Zidane? What is her name?
Is it Zoe?
Zendaya.
Zendaya, right. She's got one name. That's it.
Oh, okay.
Her name is Zendaya. She's in Spider-Man. And,
Right.
She's, but she turns around and she says, this is only the beginning. They literally showed that shit in the trailer. And this big sandworm thing, like the big thing where it like almost like stopped for him. So like you saw the person riding it at the end, right?
Right.
Yeah. So like there's the They're like,
But
so this is the next movie. Like if this was a huge setup movie, if this was all set up for like a really like
amazing second half.
eventful sequel, like
Well, I mean, it is. It's they spell it out in the first couple seconds of the film. It says part one, I believe, or book one.
oh, I didn't catch
It
that.
said Dune Part One.
Oh,
For
that
sure,
I
it
didn't see that.
absolutely
Well,
said
see,
that,
okay,
yeah.
that's fine, and that's fine. Listen, I was, I, I think I was getting irritated because of like the distraction of how long it took us to actually get through the fucking movie, and I think a part of the reason for that is the you being used to not watching so many movies anymore and more just a short term, half hour, 45 minutes to an hour.
An hour seems to be about
television
like
show.
my favorite.
So I guess you like
time
start
frame.
to get itchy, and it's like, man, like, God, we've been trying to do this all day. But we
Yeah.
did. We set up a bunch of equipment. Anyway, aside from all that, so we sat down, we watched the whole thing. Uh, The effects were good. I thought the costumes were good, but it felt like a lot of like it was very slow paced.
Yeah,
And it's
I'm
not
trying. I want to laugh at a lot of stuff because I don't want to say too much because I feel like you should watch the original.
okay.
So
You know
you
what I
know,
mean?
so you know more than we do in
Yeah,
terms of
because
this
I
world.
don't want to like mess it up for
Yeah.
you.
No,
'Cause
let's
there's some
not
No,
do
I
stuff
feel
that.
that.
there.
Yeah, no, I understand. Yeah.
There's some stuff there in the original that would provide a lot more context to what's happening, but also with the original, the approach to the storytelling was completely different. It
Right.
was still, it's still moody. It was still kind of overly dramatized it, but you had this. They had this thing in the original where not even just the main character, but like even the side characters, they had the inner dialogue was like,
Like voiceovered.
yeah, they had a voiceover of the inner dialogue of the characters, which would
I wonder if that
explain.
would have made it a lot more interesting.
I mean, dude, some of the exposition that they just dropped on us, like it was really heavy sometimes. So,
Yeah,
like
I
maybe
mean, the
that
whole
would-
thing was actually really heavy. I mean, there was like here, I was gonna say it to try to be funny, but like, am I really just like blowing your eardrums out?
it keeps going red when you're
Oh.
talking like super
Do
loud.
I need to
so
come
I'm
back
just-
a little bit? Okay, so
Stop
yeah,
yelling.
I was gonna say there's no fun parts.
The movie?
Yeah, the movie there was like no fun parts. Like it's like
You're not
I
wrong.
was like,
Like,
there was no comedy to like lighten the mood, and I get it. Like
Okay.
there's maybe not
Okay,
some-
Marvel guy.
Well, I mean, come on, Dre.
I mean,
I-
something. A healthy balance is always good with that kind
I
of
get
stuff.
if it wasn't there, if they were trying to really stay true to the source material. And the director did say, like, he's like, I'm trying to make this movie like what I saw in my head when I used to read these books.
It's a
You know,
beautiful film.
It is, it
It's
really
beautiful.
is, and there was
It's
a lot of good
beautiful.
cinematic to it.
It's very dark.
But it's extremely.
We also watched it in kind of a shitty lighting situation
Okay,
Oh,
so I'll give you that
I-
then.
to begin with. Like by the
We
time
had a
it was
lot of
done-
light coming in the
Thank you very
windows, and it
much.
was blinding a little bit, little glares.
Yeah. No, I would love to come back and talk to you guys after you watch the original for a comparison because
You don't think that'll spoil us for part two?
no. When I say they don't go too much further, it's kind of like the difference between Jeremy got home and Jeremy walked from the house to the garage. You know what I mean? It's like the story doesn't go that much further in the original, so it's not like it's gonna change anything.
Okay.
You know, you
or
wouldn't.
spoil so much.
But it's the way that the story is told, the characterizations, and a lot of the shit that I don't know if you can curse on here. Sorry, but
Yeah, you know,
go
you're
for
good.
it. Mhm.
Whatever.
okay, cool. I like the first one because I'm kooky like that, so I like those weird movies. I like this one a lot. I really do. But when I look at the way the character, it's sometimes we become constrained by our technological advancements. Like we get these things where we got these new computers and we can do all these fancy graphics and stuff like that, and it takes away from the storytelling and the characterizations. Like the first movie, the one in '84, the characters was just like I don't know how to really describe it. It was just more full character.
Were they more?
felt
They're more fleshed out, so you can
Yeah,
like
they-
that's
Well, I feel like if you were getting inner dialogue voiced over, you were definitely getting more. What
Well,
is the
not even
problem?
just
Nothing.
not even
Fine.
just that. It
Why
was
do you keep laughing?
Because it just went like super. I just saw it out of the corner of my eye going red again. You're fine, man. Don't worry about it. It's not going to be an actual
Well, you
problem.
keep, like,
I know, but it
laughing and
made me
turning it
laugh.
down.
I'm sorry.
Right.
now I'm over here like, oh wait, am I being laughed at?
No.
Hey,
Sorry.
I'm touching myself like Craig on Friday,
But
trying to
we
see if
can't
I'm
see
high.
you.
Right, that's what I'm saying. Like it doesn't even make sense. I'm touching my shirt like what the hell? But no, no. What I was saying was the characters, the way that I'll just give you an example without like giving away anything about the original. The Harkonnens, as they call them, or the Harkonnens, depending on
Yeah,
who
something like
pronounces
that.
it.
Yeah, I got you. Yeah, I like how
So
you
you
said it
got
better than the way they said it in the movie.
What?
Harkonnen.
you you
Harkonnen.
got
Harkonnen is how they
yeah,
were saying
because
it.
in the first movie it was Harkonnen, so I always known it as the Harkonnen.
Okay.
So in the you got Dave Batista, and you could tell they kind of like, okay, I've been out of the sun a little bit, and my uncle or brother or cousin, whoever, this guy,
The
he's
guy,
like,
the mud bath guy.
yeah, I'm swimming in a little oil and water and stuff.
Yeah.
But in the first movie, this these people were so filthy and disgusting and perverted and nasty, and it was only like it only take a couple minutes on screen to do it.
Right.
They just showed them do some shit that you wouldn't see people do, and it's like, okay, now I got it. That's that guy. But it's
Right.
like now it's like, okay, we want to show him fancily floating around in the air, and I don't care about all that shit. Show him being psychotic and like completely disgusting, because that's human nature. When people get absolute power, they just become the worst part of themselves. And
Right.
it's like now,
That's why he's like all fat and gluttonous and shit, right?
right?
But he's also able to get like 30 feet tall with his long legs. I mean, what is that
Was
about?
it his legs or was he flying? I think he was
He,
flying.
he's floating.
He
He's
floated
floating.
across the table.
Well, I saw that part, but earlier, like
He floated. He had, like, a long
stood
cloth.
up. I thought he had like really long legs. I'm
It
like,
looked
that's-
like I see where you're.
where the
coming
hell does
from
he
on
buy
it, but-
pants?
No, but honestly, the first time I saw it too, I was like, is he like a snake or something under there? And then
Holy
when I saw
shit.
him float across the table, I was like, oh, he just had some like long ass pajamas on, and then.
I genuinely thought he was just really. His legs got really tall. It gave me a real Attack on Titan vibe.
Oh man, I gotta rewatch it with y'all now.
What,
in,
Attack
in
on
the lighting
Or
and no, Dune, in the lighting conditions you watched it in, because I gotta see what the hell y'all was looking at. Like,
Yeah,
what?
it must have been that.
Well, no, when the first time you saw him, I think he like stood up, like it looked like.
And then he just
stood
kept
up,
like it looked like he
going
kept
up.
growing.
Right. I thought he was like
You know
a
what? To be
snake or a
fair,
serpent or
like I
something.
said, I saw the original, so I knew what was gonna happen in that
Oh,
scene.
his thing is
So
flight.
kind of right. He does that in the original. So to me, I guess it didn't have the same effect. So I can kind of see that. But no, that's crazy.
Are you like putting
They-
away
I just
groceries?
I didn't like the. Oh, I'm sorry. You can
No,
get
he
my
got his
bag.
takeout. He said he had food coming.
Oh yeah.
Man, I had to eat, man. I was
Yeah,
starving.
he said he was waiting for us. It's cool.
Okay, no,
We can
it's
deal with
it's
it.
totally fine. I was just
He said he
curious.
putting away groceries.
That's what it sounds like. Just like if you record it, you could use it as a sound over for like a cartoon. Like
Yeah, if we were doing an audio play, that would be I just got home, babe. I'm putting away the groceries.
Man, listen. You save a million lives. A lot of lying husbands out there pretending to do shit at home.
I don't know. I mean, I made a few notes along the way. They're nothing like revelatory or anything, but like I like the little floating lights that they had in the first part. Like they would just like follow them around the hallways, but
Yeah.
to keep that moody lighting, like in rooms that are
So you said
unlivably
that-
dark.
Yeah,
like
right.
who would
we
would
have technology. Can we like light?
can we
this
get a
place
light
up?
in here? Get a dimmer switch or something if you need it moody
Again,
at nighttime.
It might have been the lighting conditions we were watching the movie.
No, it was
No.
definitely
He's
it was
like, no.
there were half shadowed faces constantly.
I-
Like nobody lives like that. Even in the future, 5 times as long as we've existed or something. You know, it's since I don't know. Never mind.
I think these.
I know
new-
what you mean, Joe.
new-
Not 5 times as long as we've existed, but 5 times 2,000 years, like
Right.
10,000 years. They should have good lighting. Is all I'm saying.
Right.
It's
No,
irritating.
everything should be like. No,
Am I
but
watching Better Call
not just-
Saul, or am I watching a movie set in
not just good-
10,000?
Not just good lighting, but like the best perfected fucking.
Yes, it should
like,
be-
They should have nailed it
So-
by now.
Yeah.
Right.
So what is that to you? What does that say about the movie to you then? Because to me,
That they're trying to be dystopian, like that they're trying to be.
yeah, that's kind of a hacky storytelling thing when people like, okay, I'm gonna over dramatize the scene and make everything feel away because I'm gonna mute all the lighting.
Man,
like,
it felt like they were just pulling from all the tropes we've seen in movies. So it made me reassess movies. Are we just seeing are we used to a bunch of things that ripped off Dune? And we
Right.
didn't know about it, or is this just
Well,
I
would
seemingly
say definitely
slotting
there was
into?
definitely some stuff there. For
It's
sure.
doing everything we've already seen a million times.
I was almost going to make the joke that George Lucas got kicked off of Frank Herbert's writing team. He just took some of his ideas and kind of conformed them to his own.
If
I
you
mean,
do the
I can
research,
also
that
see.
might be
I'm
true.
not a huge. I'm with some research to find out might be true. Man, honestly, like you could see some of the influence on Star Trek as well.
Slow down, buddy.
Listen, I'm not trying to start the argument.
Wait, what? What are we talking about?
He's a Star Trek guy, not a Star Wars guy.
So-
We will
okay.
not be. We will not besmirch the good name of Gene
I was
Roddenberry
not
or the Star
trying to
Trek.
besmirch anybody. I was just
Okay.
saying.
But couldn't he have
Just
taken
saying.
influence from it?
I mean, people do it.
They haven't been able to by everybody's account here, they haven't been able to visualize Dune properly yet. So maybe everybody, I mean, like George Lucas clearly took some of the aspects, like the big worm thing,
I mean, it was
like-
almost like the beginning of the story starting in a desert.
but they
was-
did it. He
almost
did
like
it
a
in a way
telltale-
that worked. So, like, just because Dune wasn't able to, I think maybe some people might have been influenced by it and been like, you know what, I could take that thing from Dune. They never worked it out on screen,
well, honestly,
unintentionally
to
or
me,
not.
like
you
I
know?
expected a much bigger scale because of those conversations.
Right.
I honestly expected it to be much bigger in scale. The movie to actually feel like way bigger,
Yeah.
like there'd be more of a universe that we were looking at than just one fucking.
We got to see
planet,
2 planets, right?
right, essentially. Now that
We
we
got to
probably
see the beach on one planet, and,
right,
and then another.
and then the
The
desert
one
planet.
where Batista and them were at.
we don't
Oh yeah,
see-
they did show that.
We saw that after they left.
we saw
remember?
their homeworld.
I think so. Just briefly.
Oh, you're right, just briefly.
Yeah.
But
Like all these big stars around.
I'm saying, like, they
I'm-
talked
I'm-
about that scope and how it couldn't be visualized properly, but it didn't feel like it was too big to be visualized. There's been bigger scope things that have been visualized.
Imagine how
on screen.
lame that worm thing would have been even 10 years ago.
Fair enough.
True.
That's probably what they meant. Like he came up with stuff that
Yeah, but they did it 40 years ago.
I know, but not great.
Yeah, if you see it, just wait.
If you see it now,
If
it's
you
not
haven't
great, man.
watched
Like
it
it's not going to
first.
be what you remember.
Right, like,
Well, I
like,
don't remember it at all because I never saw
don't,
it.
Don't put your money on that old school worm.
When I used to go to
that's
the
just
video
bad.
store, like my dad used to take me to the video store and we'd go get we would rent a movie. Either it would be wrestling
Right.
or some sort of sci-fi movie like that. And I would always say, hey, can we get Dune? It looks cool. And he'd always be like, eh. Like he had seen it and he was like, it's not that good. So he must just not have liked it. So he never rented that movie and watched it with me. You know what I'm saying? All right. And I
Right.
never. it
Can I
just
be
never
fair?
went- Sure.
It's nobody's favorite sci-fi film.
It's not.
I-
The story isn't even.
Well,
I
we
don't
don't
think
know
it's
the rest of
anybody's
it.
favorite sci-fi franchise.
No, I don't think so either.
See, that's the vibe I was getting. That people are like really behind it, and they're like, "We'll just give it a chance." They just haven't done it right yet.
Because it's a very deep story universe, mythos, whatever you want to call it. It's all of that shit. It's just like Tolkien and all, with
But they
the,
said that about. I mean, I always heard that about Star Wars, and it's just so surface level of everything.
no, Star Wars sucks.
Like, I'm sorry. Like
All right now.
I don't disagree with
I'm
him.
sorry.
Like it.
I'm
Like
so-
I really tried with that. All
See, this
9
is why-
episodes, and
This is why Joel. You know what, Jeremy, you getting dangerously close to being usurped. That's all I'm saying.
Usurped is though is what as his token white guy.
I'm saying.
Right. I'm gonna get bumped out. By,
no,
by a
no,
D.
not Token.
I'm gonna get
not
bumped.
Token.
No,
just replacement second.
Replacement second.
I
Okay.
don't even know what that fuck
Listen,
that means.
well, I'm gonna get replaced by Adidas Jesus over here. Like I'm good.
Man, listen,
All right.
still a dope. It's still a dope jacket.
Yep.
But yeah, no, that's what I'm saying.
Oh,
Though.
the one with me on it. I
Yeah,
forgot about. Yeah,
Yeah.
I've worn that in a while. I'll wear that tomorrow for adventure.
but no, Star Wars sucks, and I know what you mean by its surface. It's pretty much it's the good guys and it's the
There
bad
was
guys.
so much to talk about, and like when I would bring it up with Star Wars fans, I'm not saying you necessarily, but like remember Aaron Brown when we would talk about it.
See, he was way more.
But they would-
standoffish. I would always be willing to have a conversation.
It was
with you about
weird. It was just
And
like
I don't think I got angry about it.
no.
Like,
But even
I
like
always wanted
Scramblin'
more
or
from
any
Star
of my
Wars.
like
I
huge
feel like
Star
we're getting
Wars
some
fans.
of that with the Mandalorian stuff is like more. It's not so much surface level storytelling that the movies are.
You get to know them a little bit
Dude,
better.
when them
and-
motherfuckers were riding the horses on the side of a spaceship.
Wait, what are you talking about?
The last
Star
movie.
Wars. Oh my god.
Yeah.
George
I kind of looked at
Lucas-
Jenna. Yeah, that happened.
George
that was the
Lucas had to
first
be
one that I
sitting
got
out
actually
like,
sucked
y'all-
into
y'all
and
didn't
forgot
want
it was
You're
me
talking
involved?
about the last movie,
Episode 9.
Episode 9.
That was the first one that I
They're-
ever got like I
I-
forgot I was watching Star Wars
like-
from it. I'm like, I'm
I-
enjoying the movie.
I actually looked at my wife. I was like, "Aren't they in space?" I don't really know what's happening here. Like
Fuck
they're riding
physics.
horses.
It was a space western, wasn't it?
Yeah, that's what it turned into. I don't know.
To be fair,
Listen,
Star
I-
Wars. Hey, that's with the roots. Star Wars followed like the same tradition as the old samurai movies, and the samurai movies inspired the
enough.
Western movies. So
Yeah.
good guy, bad guy, blah blah blah.
But there was so much there that could have been explored, like that
I-
whole balancing the force thing. Like to me, that was one of the more interesting conversations. Period about Star Wars was like,
well,
didn't
I
he
mean
do
for
what
this
he
to
was
turn
supposed?
into
I
a
know
Star
it's
Wars
not going to. I'm not going to let it derail for that long. But
Right.
like, shouldn't that have? Didn't he do what he was supposed to by
mean-
balancing the force? And then couldn't they unbalance the force by
They
having
did some
people go
cool
undercover
stuff.
and be,
I
evil
thought
and
that-
all that shit? I don't know. It was just
Them like fighting through the force, like being in two different places, but then being able to physically fight
That
each
was
other. Like I
cool.
thought that was really fucking cool and
Yeah.
something that should have been well explored through this whole new trilogy. And it's like they didn't even really like get there until
dude,
the
it's
last
like
movie.
it's like the Game of Thrones thing with Bran.
Yeah.
Like I mean, at a different timing in it, but
He's
you know what
all
I
in the
mean.
same- That's a podcast we can.
In terms of
you can join us on,
unexplored,
too.
awesome stuff that would have been great to see more of.
Is that the brand's powers? in
Yeah,
Game
like
of
that would have been
Thrones,
so
in
much more
general,
fun.
Like all of his abilities and the things that he'd be capable of was certainly one of the more interesting things that Game of Thrones did, and they just fucking threw it in the trash can. Yeah, like we don't. Need that.
I would be just like
I
interested
keep
in
bumping the
seeing
table.
any of the
I
Game of
wonder if
Thrones
that's gonna show
characters
up. Huh?
No, you're
have
good.
any kind of like actual ending that matched what the characterization was up to that point. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
Right.
have
Yeah.
Jamie die in the arms of
Yes.
Brienne Tarth instead of his fucking sister.
Yeah, man.
You know,
Yeah, I mean to undo the whole arc. I mean, there's a million things that we could go on and on about. with that.
multi-season
That could-
arc. But yeah, that's crazy. I don't. That's painful. I don't know.
It
It's
is
why we
painful.
never did the final season of the podcast.
Well,
We're
yeah.
thinking about it because we're trying
were
to come to
thinking of-
peace with it because it's really bumming us out that
Because because we were having this discussion the other day that there is some really really good stuff in there. man.
and a few years ago I asked him what his favorite show was and he said Game of Thrones and I was like, it's not fair. You can't answer that. You can't use that yet. It's not over. People shit on Lost and that's my favorite show, like of all time. I just think it's the best. And
Say word.
yeah.
All right, Jerry, you got your spot back, bro. You good?
See, there's a discussion thing, and I love Lost too. Like not as much as he does. Like Lost is his Star Trek. No joke. dude.
Yeah, like
He
I've
loves
watched
it.
chronologically Lost, and Jenna and I podcast through 101 episodes of that over like 3 years.
That's what's up.
Like,
I
and
enjoyed the
it
hell out of
worked.
Lost.
It worked in
enjoyed
chronological
it.
order, which was the very interesting thing. For the most part, continuity was there. There were only like 2 or 3 things over the whole series, and they didn't intend for it to be ever seen that way. And for it to still make sense was like, how?
It did. It worked.
Yeah, I don't know. It was really good.
I mean, it was a very well written show, but sometimes we get a little full of ourselves. You can be a little too artsy. You know what I mean?
Well, if they
Sometimes-
if they
sometimes you
force
gotta
you to do
step
2
back.
extra seasons, you kind of got to stretch it out there, and I don't. You
I
know what
think
mean?
they suffered mostly from the writer's strike because the writer's strike season fucked a lot of shows over.
Yeah, that was season 4. It only ended up being 13
Is
episodes.
that the
but
one where like
was the
midway through
freighter.
there was like a fucking huge where he was like they showed us the first 3 episodes or first 7 episodes.
That was season 3. Before season 3 started, they talked to the network and wanted to make an endpoint for the show. They wanted to do maybe 2 more seasons, 3 and 4.
They had to bring everything around, so they had to know where they were.
And they said we were thinking like 10 seasons.
Jesus Christ!
And they finally got them to. So in season 3, they put the characters in cages because they didn't. They were metaphorically stuck in a cage, like they couldn't let them progress forward. The writers have talked about it, and like. So they ended up talking.
There's still some good stuff in
they
those
talked
scenes,
themselves into an end game
Bear biscuits
and got it to be 6 seasons. But then now they got to fill that out when their end game was considerably shorter. Those things considered, and the way those final seasons played out, 5 especially, one of my favorite seasons of TV. Period.
I feel you.
Season 5
It
was what is where Constant happened.
Yeah,
like,
no, the time travel season. The Dharma Initiative, old time stuff, explaining the incident, all that stuff. Yeah, that was my jam.
So I'm curious, Joe.
Yes.
You say Lost is your favorite show of all time.
Like without
my
question.
son is named Sawyer.
I do not want to sound like I'm beating a dead horse.
Go for it.
But have you seen The Wire?
Yeah. I've watched.
Really?
I'm watching it right now with my girlfriend. She's never seen it, and we're 2 episodes in. I've seen it all the way through twice. I love The Wire.
Okay.
That final season let me down more than Lost's final season.
Really?
Yeah. That the newspaper stuff, I just didn't care by that point. And like all the characters that I had loved, and this is probably going to be a controversial statement, I loved season 4. That was my favorite one.
Season 4 was
the school,
Marlowe.
the children
Oh no,
stuff.
with the kids at the school.
Yeah, the kids stuff. I loved that season.
No, that was a good season because it showed what
it
happened
connected
with some
Cheese
of the police.
and that Randy, as father and son, without them ever knowing it.
Yeah, it was a lot of dope stuff on The Wire. I like that every season focused on a different aspect.
Yeah, same
of the
thing. It was
city.
like a book, like that. That's the way people have described it to me. And like, it doesn't start off super fast, but it took me like 5 episodes to get sucked into to where like I need to see what happens next. Not, I'll keep watching.
All right, so without even like derailing the whole conversation, I just want to ask one question. Who's your favorite character from The Wire?
Man, I don't know. I'm rewatching it now, so it's tough because I'm only on season 1, and I remember liking D'Angelo. I remember liking Wallace. I remember.
Oh, Wallace was hard. Oh, that was tough.
I remember. I mean, I never really liked Stringer Bell. I always felt like he was kind of a tool that was trying to fit into a world that he didn't really belong in, and he was trying to be too businesslike with it, and it just didn't work.
Yeah,
and
that was his downfall.
I never liked
the Dune Beds
I never
on
liked
the Wire podcast.
I never liked the dad, or I mean the uncle, Avon. I didn't even realize that he was the dude from Remember the Titans either.
Remember the Titans, yeah.
Yeah,
that dude is like 75 and 14 at the same time.
Yeah.
Wood Harris.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know, man. I can't remember. I mean, I
attention
think the
to Slim
cliche.
Charles.
I was gonna say, I think the cliche is like Omar.
No, pay attention to Slim Charles this time.
Is that the dude with the bow tie?
No, Slim Charles is the tall, dark-skinned dude with the braids. He's just an enforcer. He's an enforcer, but he's the one with. He's the guy who eventually kills Cheese.
Okay.
I was just reminded he just passed away, didn't he?
Who?
Didn't you just send me something that didn't?
Michael K. Williams,
Yeah.
Omar. Yeah,
Yeah.
he died.
Yep.
I think it was drugs.
Accidental overdose. They said, yeah.
Fucked up. And then Alex Baldwin accidentally shot somebody.
I mean,
Yeah.
Jesus.
I am not doing air quotations right now. Hey, listen. Unbeknownst to you guys,
He accidentally shot somebody the same way Dick Cheney accidentally shot somebody.
Right, exactly. Unbeknownst to you guys, I've been doing a few French fry tests.
French what?
French fry tests.
During this podcast?
Yeah. I
Okay.
just wonder if you can hear me.
Most of it so far.
Right.
Why? What are you talking
We
about?
definitely-
Joe,
we definitely
Joe,
heard
no, you
The
heard me chewing
unboxing
the
of the
French
French
fries.
fries.
No, I don't know if I did. I was just kidding.
Okay,
I
that's
was
what
I
I
was
said.
talking about the grocery part.
I can hear French fries.
I was about to say, oh my God, I gotta apologize.
So how are the French fries?
They're getting colder by the second. I got cheese on them.
See, I feel like that's a mistake. I was just talking to my daughter about cheese on burgers and the cheese on stuff from fast food or whatever. It just overwhelms it. The only one I've ever done without cheese is like a Whopper Jr. And
Okay.
it tastes good. Like I can taste the meat. And I'm like, man, if there was cheese on here, all I would taste is the cheese. So I just do like plain burgers around the house. So, and I've never liked fries with cheese. It's just all you taste is
So if
cheese.
I ever
It's
make
like your ketchup complaint.
Right, quotation t-shirts for this podcast. I can taste the meat is going to be your first one.
Okay.
Please, man, listen. I
Done.
wasn't gonna say it.
I can taste
I
the
didn't.
meat.
I didn't want to be the
He
first
said it
one to
with
say
such
nothing about
gusto.
that.
I can taste the meat.
Yeah. Don't
Anyway,
have
so back to Dune.
yeah.
Right.
I don't know, man. Like, I really, really, for the first 3/4 of this movie, I was in. And, like, I'm rooting for it. But, like, it never
what
got
I-
its footing under it. It
I
never
feel
got
like
going.
when I realized that we were like 2 hours into 2.5 hours and we weren't going to get
Anything. Like,
any substantial like.
he ended up fighting an underling at
I mean,
the
like,
end.
yeah,
I mean,
we can see what's going to happen. Like he's going to go and learn their ways, and like I think we got a little glimpse of it in one of his dreams. Like he was diving, he was in like that white suit, and he was like diving through, cutting people up and shit. And like the mask came up, and he had the blue eyes, like the people from the planet.
Right.
So he's
And
gonna
that's how they. That's
gonna be a-
literally how they ended the first film. I mean, the original.
Okay, so
Showing him with his blue eyes.
okay,
they're
so they
gonna-
just showed it out of order.
they're gonna
That's
do
right.
some sort of time jump. I bet. Like by the
Yeah.
time the next movie comes out, there's going to be a gap between, and he's going to be several years older and been living with them.
But, like, this better be paying off in some major way.
Well, see, that's the risk because you're talking about Hollywood. You're talking about tens of millions of dollars in the budget, sometimes hundreds of millions of dollars to make
Right.
these films. You don't know if they'll even make the rest of the fucking movies.
Well, he said it was supposed to be 2, and they didn't like do the Lord of the Rings thing where they like filmed it at the same time. Like,
No, they
it's
didn't,
not-
and they also didn't secure the production of the second movie.
right. They're going to see how this goes.
That's my point. So you never even fucking know.
But what's the point of that? I mean, I don't know. Why
That's
tell
why you
half a
have to
story?
make each chapter should be a self-contained
Yes.
experience. That's enough of an experience where people can look at it and say, "Yeah, I like that shit." You
I
know
feel
what
like they
mean?
did
if
that better
that
with
doesn't
Star
do-
Wars than
but if
this.
that doesn't do justice to the source material and so the story that he's actually trying to tell, beginning to end.
I'm sorry you wrote too long of a story.
I'm
Figure
gonna
out
keep
parts
it.
to
Yeah, I was
cut
about
out.
to say I got to be honest with you. 2 movies, even 2 Lord of the Rings style extended cut 4-hour films, wouldn't do the story that much justice because it's a lot of shit. Like
Dune.
these are whole characters. Like his mom, she's a whole fucking character.
Yeah, like we
her
need more
order,
about them.
the Benny Jesuits, and all that. That's some real crazy shit that's going on
the
with
witches,
that.
yeah.
The Jesuits, the Betty Jesuits, or Betty.
Yeah.
I always forget that how they pronounce it, but
That's
the
close.
point is, these are the people who run the fucking empire, basically. But at the same time, from another perspective, the Harkonnens or the Harkonnens run the empire. But from another perspective, the emperor runs the empire. You know,
And see, we didn't even see him.
That's my point. It's
We didn't
so
even
much
see
shit.
the emperor at all. They
Oh
talked
my
about him.
God.
We didn't even see who he is.
I don't
Like,
want
the
to talk too
Harkonnen-
loosely about it, but you really got to watch that first one. That's all I'm saying. Because it's so much
I
stuff.
don't know if it's worth a comparison watch or not. Like
It's not about comparison. Just watch it for the story. Because what happens is, put it like this:
I can't. I wouldn't be able to help it.
Patrick Stewart is in it.
Okay.
How can you not watch it? Patrick Stewart is in it, bro. Patrick Stewart,
Yeah, I mean, I'll watch it.
Captain Picard, man.
Yeah. I
Oh,
mean,
he was in Star Trek, wasn't he?
Yeah.
uh,
I was just kidding, man. I
do
knew
you watch the new Picard series?
I tried.
Is it no good?
No, he's just old and it's depressing.
that. That might be the best
It's
endorsement.
good. It's
He's-
good.
He's old and
but
it's
he's
depressing.
old. You know what I mean?
Right.
But he's
Sometimes
looked
you
the
don't
same
wanna-
for 60 years because
Nah, not in this Picard shit. You
He's
know
a-
how some people start getting old in the fingers.
He's a
I know you know what I'm talking about. Like that finger don't bend the right way no more, and it become
This
way
episode
fat.
isn't called "Old in the Fingers."
When they hold their hand up, their hand shakes. They can't close it all the way. He's getting old.
Yeah,
isn't
and
he?
you remember when we knew Charlton Heston? Well, I don't know if you guys was paying attention, but I always paid attention to that shit. Like Charlton Heston's, like his hand was like caved in right at the at the like between the thumb and the index, and it was like the hand was just like caved in, like it was deflated. It's like holy shit, this motherfucker's
Old in the
hand is.
fingers.
Yeah, you see that shit. The guy from Karate Kid that's in Cobra Kai now. The old guy, Creed or whatever the fuck his name is.
You talking about the sensei?
The OG sensei from
Yeah, got you.
yeah. You see his fucking hands whenever they show his hands on screen. That's why he always try to put his hands under his arms, like and look tough by crossing his arms. You don't
Because
want to show them fucking hands. Them hands look old as shit. You can't have it in the hands, bro. Trust me.
I can't hide it on the hands.
But I got it.
Think about it.
He's
They don't
getting
have
old in the
Botox for the
fingers.
hands.
Did you
Yeah.
just name the episode? He just named the episode. You just named the episode for us. It's
Old in the fingers.
Right.
Ugh.
Uh,
I don't know. I hope that there's some way that I feel like this one would have been only having seen this and nothing else, knowing nothing else about Dune. I feel like this would have been better served as a series. Like because then you could have done an episode on a you could have taken a total tangent. You could have paused the story and done a whole mom backstory episode, or
Yeah.
any character. Like that's why I love Lost so much was
Didn't they
because
do
of
that?
the
Wasn't-
character depth and
Isn't there a sci-fi?
the other stuff was
Dune series, like a sci-fi channel.
Yeah, and sometimes the Dune material that's out there for Dune is kind of hard to sift through because some of it is fan made, and some of the fan made shit looks like the real shit, and some of the real shit look like fan made shit. So I never know. I just
Right.
watch it all.
Well,
When
yeah,
I see it, I watch it.
Sci-fi channel.
So you're a Dune fan then? Prior to this
I actually
movie?
like the universe.
He's a sci-fi
really like
guy.
it.
He really is.
But
He's a
prior to
sci-fi
this
guy.
movie coming out?
I don't know that. Yeah.
Oh no! Prior to this movie coming out, I was always involved with like the Doom shit. I
Okay.
like it. I like the universe, but like I said, this movie. That's why this movie. I'm looking at it from a different perspective. For me, it's like okay, I'm seeing a lot of flair, but there's no substance here, and there's substance there, but it's like only for the people who know what's there. Like I know what's up with the people with the fucking bubble helmets
Right.
that walked out with the emissary.
So you're
when
just
they,
waiting
you know,
for everybody to to reveal themselves, so to speak.
Well,
and-
not even that. That shit should have been there because it was in the first movie. That's my point. Like the first
Ah.
movie, they told you all this shit. Like why were they? To me, it's like I'm
It's almost
watching
like you
this
should have
long
known.
production of people saying, "Look at what we can do. Look at what I could do with these fucking computers."
But
I'm gonna
there's-
take a lot of the story shit out though.
Right, they're
because that's
assuming
not
prior
important.
knowledge then, if they're assuming that
That
we already
too,
know
it
this
could be
stuff.
that.
And that's a bummer. Like, I always assume no prior knowledge, especially
And
if
how do
it's
you?
a new
And why would you
series.
do that? It's 40 years old.
Yeah.
These it's people that
You're right. I don't think
it's
they
just
should have
people that's
come
going
at
to
it
see
from
this
that
shit that
angle.
wasn't even alive back then.
I know I'm 41. Like,
Right.
Right, exactly.
Right. I'm 41, and like I said, I'm 40. I'm about to be 41 this year. I had never seen anything, So I was coming at it completely blank too. I had no prior knowledge to it. I knew there were sandworms in it. That was it. That was all I knew.
I
about
like
it.
the main character. Like, I don't dislike the kid.
Oh my god, he sucks. I'm
you
sorry.
you really
I
don't
quit.
like the
I quit.
kid?
He's a kid in this movie. He's like a fucking teenager for some reason. In the first movie, he was a grown ass man who understood his fucking place.
Well, probably they just jumped
It was
ahead from all
weird.
this stuff, I would imagine, right? Like, this is more of a backstory thing for that kid, his journey,
No.
than the other one.
It's still the same story. They telling the same story.
He just already had the knowledge. He's just
Yeah,
already
they-
leveled up.
They hired
No,
him
what
'cause
I'm
his name
saying
was
is
Timothy
they
Chalamet.
implied that he's been training under these generals and warriors his whole life. He's been training under his mother in the ways of this witchcraft that they use
Right.
The voice.
his whole life. So in this film, it's like he's a teenager and he's about to go on his voyage of discovery.
But
In the
they
first
said
film-
he had been training under his mom his whole life.
Right, they say it, but they present him as a character that's about to go on his
I
voyage
see.
of discovery.
Right.
Whereas the old one, they said the same thing, but the guy that you show on screen is like, okay, yeah, he's what's the fucking guy? Thanos. Thanos walked in the room.
Josh
Uh,
Brolin.
Yeah.
Josh Brolin. Josh Brolin walked in the room and he said, "I told you never have your back to the door or some shit like that, right?
Yeah, don't fight with your back to with your
Don't
back.
fight.
Yeah.
Some shit was back of the
Yeah.
door, right?
When
I
he was
hate.
fighting those mannequins, right?
And I
Yeah.
promise you, this is the last time I'm gonna say it again. I mean, this is the last time I say it. I won't bring up anything else. But scenes like that is what bothered me because in the original, he was sitting down doing some shit at a desk with his back to the door, and three people walked in, not just the guy who was training them, but also one of the. Well, I don't want to give that away because they didn't even like discuss that in the movie, which was fucking weird. But he walked in and was like, I told you never to sit with your back to the door. And he was like, I would have heard your footsteps. Well, those things could be fake, blah, blah. Same dialogue, but then you had the inner dialogue of the guy who was watching, like, maybe this kid is ready. Maybe he is the one. You know what I'm saying? Like, these are people who's like you. Sometimes you can start a
More
story
depth,
in the
more
middle.
substance is what he's
Right.
talking
You can start
about.
a
It
story
feels
in
like
the
that's
middle
what it was kind of
and
missing. Like
still
now that he's
give
saying it out
you
loud.
right. You can get the feeling that okay, this is some wild shit going on. You don't have to be like, I wonder what's going on. No, they can tell you and still present it in a way that's like, okay, yeah. So like I said, the older movie, the effects and all the visuals and shit, the shit sucks. It's goofy as hell. It's silly, but they just, I feel like when we didn't have all this technology, we told better stories and we told them in better ways.
I
In
wouldn't
this,
disagree with that. I mean, I see what you're saying. Like they're overcompensating and oversimplifying for the sake of
yeah,
trying to fit it into a
The
certain time.
the
That's why a
spectacle.
series would make way more sense. Put the same budget into it and divide it up, and you know what I mean?
I
especially
totally
with
agree
these
with you.
streaming services blowing up
Right.
nowadays. Yeah, hell yeah, I see that.
I
Well,
would watch a Dune
isn't Amazon
series.
Prime doing exactly that with the Lord of the Rings?
I think so.
Yep.
I'm worried about that. I don't know why. I just
I think you're going to get a hell of a lot more depth, more
hope
substance
so.
than you did. Are you a fan of the movies?
I really liked the movies. Yeah,
Oh, I didn't know that.
Which movies?
Lord of the Rings.
Which movies? The Lord of the Rings
Yeah.
Or the
the Lord of the
Hobbit.
Rings and the Hobbit?
I mean,
Hey,
I'm
you
not
gotta
a
be
big fan of the
specific.
Hobbit stuff.
I didn't-
I love
okay.
the Lord of the Rings. I'm not
I
a
didn't.
huge fan
I
of the
didn't
Hobbit.
love the Hobbit, but I also didn't hate it. Like it felt needlessly long and extended.
I feel like they stretched it out. It should
Yeah,
have been one movie, and they stretched it out to 3 movies.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's the only issue I have with that one. I didn't mind living in that world a little bit longer,
Mhm.
but it felt like okay, we're just retreading the Gollum stuff, and we're doing this or
Mhm.
that, and I don't know.
I agree.
It felt like we've
just-
seen the orcs, now we've seen the this, and now we've seen whatever.
I love those movies. I do.
Yeah,
However, I feel like a series, depending on the look and feel of it.
but isn't it going to feel like B players? Like it's not like they're gonna, for example, I mean, maybe they could, I guess, get Orlando Bloom to do
Yeah.
something. But like I'm
Well,
saying,
I don't
if
no,
it's
I
not
think if you're
people
doing-
from the movies, aren't you going to be like, well, this is a lesser story being told in that same
I don't,
world?
I don't think I was. I don't think I'm going at it from that in any way, shape, or form. I think they're gonna. You're gonna get a whole new list of actors. I mean, we didn't know. I mean, we knew some of the actors in Lord of the Rings, but I mean, I wouldn't say Orlando Bloom was a huge star at that point. Not till
He
after
had
that.
done that thing. I don't know what the fuck he had done before that.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like Viggo Mortensen wasn't.
I'm just saying, like, isn't it
Ian
weird to
McKellen
go
was an
into
actor and
a?
been around for a long time, and Magneto, I think even came after. That came after the Fellowship.
But isn't it weird to like go back to a world where a story like we're about to do with Game of Thrones with that other thing, like you're going back to,
Yeah,
to
no, I think-
seemingly be be told a
No.
lesser story. They already told you the main
You-
one.
I see what you're saying, but that's
Is there
we're
better
not
stories
watching
than
a
that?
retelling. We're not watching
I know.
a reboot. This is a completely reboot. They're revamping.
I
it.
understand.
I don't think they're gonna try and. I don't think it's gonna look anything like the Peter Jackson movies. Like I don't think
I
it's gonna
hope
look
not.
like that.
You don't
I
think
think
it's
it's
going
gonna
to be
have a whole
set in the
new-
same universe, so
yes,
to speak, though?
but I think it's gonna
like
have
that stuff
completely-
happen.
Like it's gonna be however the director, how that dude visualized those.
I'm
books.
fine with whatever they
Not-
make it look like.
not-
That
I'm
I
just
don't
saying,
give a
like
shit
you're
about.
gonna, it's gonna. So new actors do everybody for that.
But do you think they're going to recast anybody that we
No,
already know? It's just going
no.
to be other stuff
It's
in that
I hope
world.
not.
what do you mean?
The only
No,
people that would have been
no.
alive,
It's they're retelling
I
the
believe
story.
this is a.
They're not
I
telling
bel
other stories.
Wait, they're retelling the Lord of the
no,
Rings
I
again?
thought they was going backwards.
No, they
I,
can't be redoing the movies. Like this has to just be another piece of the canon,
no,
right?
I'm pretty sure they're going backwards to before the. Oh, I hate when I don't remember these weird ass made up names. But what was the city um with the big white city with the walls, the
Gondor.
Gondor. That wasn't Gondor, was it? Yeah. Okay. Yeah, it was Gondor. Anyway, I guess they going the. I think the story is going back to before that city
Oh, I didn't know that. I
was
thought it was going to
founded.
be. I thought they were recasting.
No,
I
no,
thought they were
no.
doing like
They're
telling
telling
Frodo stories.
different stories.
Oh, I didn't know that. Okay, I was.
But see,
I didn't. I was
in
unaware of that. Did you
but
know
in
that?
the
Yes, that's what I
things,
Oh, I
thought.
did not. I did not. I
Because
didn't.
I'm
in the
just,
thing.
and in that
Oh,
way,
sorry. Go ahead.
in that way, do you see what my point is? Like, we're going back into this world where they told this epic story about the ring and all that stuff, and then now we're going back in there to be told some side story. Like if we were thrown into Game of Thrones and we're told
Oh, see, I didn't know that.
another thing in that world, I don't think it's ever going to have the gravitas of that original thing that was like this
I
is
was actually
the
looking
best
forward
stuff.
to it being a whole new thing, just telling the Lord of the Rings story again. I was actually looking
Well,
forward to that.
but that's what
I
I was
didn't know
about to
that's what it
say.
was.
The thing about the Lord of the Rings is some of the characters are really fucking old. Like
Right.
Sauron was around a long time.
Hmm.
Gandalf was around way
Thousands of
before his
years.
name was
Yeah.
Gandalf. His
Right.
name wasn't Gandalf before. He's more like a spirit, if any. Gandalf and the other wizards is what you would call like angels, basically.
Right.
And
They can ascend to different levels
well,
of like.
they've
Right.
existed since the beginning of the creation of that world.
Right.
So they changed their names. That's why they even hinted at that in the original movies when he was like Gandalf. Oh yeah, I did used to go by that name. You know what I'm saying? Like
Right. Like
he's
he
had
acted. He
many
said like
names.
when he said Gandalf the Grey, and he kind of thought like,
Right.
like they used to call me that. I am
Yeah.
Gandalf the White. Like.
Right.
Well,
And
right. He's confused because they changed the
right
last
'cause it's
word in the
been
I
name.
millions
don't
of
think he was
years.
confused.
No,
I think
it
it was
was
more of like
about
a smart ass kind of a
Yeah.
guy.
his name was also different. It wasn't actually Gandalf. It was I can't remember the
Right.
name, and I feel like a super nerd for knowing it, and I feel even worse for not remembering it right now. But
Well,
the point is,
I'm excited for it either
it was
way.
always a different
I
name.
know people that learn the language, learn to speak the
Well,
language.
people
You're
learn
fine.
Well,
fucking
then day
Klingon
one.
and learn.
Yeah, you're fine.
People learn languages. There's people walk around speaking Dothraki and shit.
I know. How stupid do they feel now? Bothered to
To be
learn.
fair,
Bothered to learn Dothraki.
to be fair,
What? To
if you
make it
had to
fair.
learn, if
Make
you
it
had to
fair.
learn a fake language from a sci-fi or a fantasy universe,
Uh huh.
Dothraki is not a bad one to learn. Because
Yeah,
I mean, think
it's
about
very
it.
aggressive.
The cosplay for that presents a lot of
You
options.
could learn
That's like,
German. It's very aggressive sounding as well, and you'd
and
speak
you
to
can
a
actually
whole
still use
people.
it.
Yeah, you can speak to a whole country at least.
Yeah, you fuck around and pledge to some shit you don't want to be a part of on accident with German.
Right.
That shit just sounds wrong when you speak that shit. You trying to order some shit. at,
Imagine
like
trying to woo
McDonald's.
somebody in German. It just wouldn't work.
Like what the fuck?
You can't sound soft and kind.
You threw a little fucking. There was a little Arnold in there.
A little bit, yeah. Well, I mean, Austrian, German, same thing.
Close.
It's so close.
So, do you think that we should have hope for the second half? That like it doesn't seem like you've gotten to the end of the story either. So, I guess my
I've
question
gotten,
is
with Dune.
with Dune,
Yeah.
right?
No, I'm way past that story. I'm somewhere else.
There's stories.
Yeah,
past
there's other
Dune.
stories, right? That's what I'm saying. There's other stories. Like these motherfuckers travel.
There's
to
like
different
what's it
planets,
called? Dune.
all kind of shit.
Wait, so but I'm saying in the story that we're being told in this movie,
Oh yeah,
you're
okay.
not like at the end of that, or is there source material that you've read that you know of that you know where this whole thing is going?
Yeah, I know where it's going.
Oh,
They
okay.
got they have those shows are out there. The there's actual movies and in series
Okay,
that's
that I
been
wasn't
produced with
aware
the
of. You
others.
said it went just a
Yeah.
little further. I didn't realize the other ones
No, no,
continued
no,
from
no.
there.
There's a
That was in
sci-fi
reference
series.
to the very first
Yeah, that's what I meant. Yeah, I thought that was as
80s
far as it
1984
ever
film.
went. I got you now. Yeah, yeah.
And then the Sci-Fi Channel one even goes beyond, like, beyond
Okay.
Dune.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, they
So
actually
then,
call it Beyond Dune.
I was
don't
just gonna say, is it called Beyond Dune? I think
so then knowing where it's going, are we? Is it? Do you think it's going to be worth it?
they?
Waiting for the second movie?
If they actually tell the story, yes, it could be one of the best sci-fi franchises of all time. Like rebooting this could be one of the biggest things since rebooting Star Trek. Actually, like
So it's
when
not going to
next
end.
gen,
It'll just keep going. Like it'll just keep
yeah,
spinning
there's
off.
enough source material there for them
yeah.
to make.
Is this really another Star Wars story with like Anakin
No,
being the one and all that, and this kid being
no,
the one? It's
not so
not that.
much
Okay, good.
because there's a scientific explanation for it. If that makes sense.
Okay.
The
Whereas
one in Dune, whereas in Star Wars, it's
right, with
just
Star Wars,
mystical.
it was supposed to be mystical prophecy, and then they tried to double back and try to make it like, oh, we got fucking
Midichlorians.
midichlorians in our blood and all that, and try to make it more
They
scientific,
never said that word again
and
after
then
that
left it the
movie.
fuck alone after that because they realized how
Right.
stupid it was.
Right.
But no, with Dune, it's you
Midichlorians.
can kind of
This was
see
the word she used to catch the lady.
But I mean, they made
or
it all.
not,
They
she
had all
used to
that
catch her.
prophecy stuff. Are you saying that stuff
no, they
isn't?
did it, but check it out. That's what's dope about Dune. If you look at it in the context of the story that's being told to you, it kind of makes sense because what does the spice melange do?
It said it made it sound like they got high off it, and then but it also allowed space travel. Like it was a
It
very
allows for
confusing
faster
premise.
than light travel in space, and that's the key to time travel. So if you use an element that's involved in time travel and space travel and shit like that,
Oh, they did say
and then
time
it's
and
also
space, right?
And snorting
well,
up
yeah,
your nose, then
when
what
you
happens?
yeah, that's my point. So of course, if you can move your consciousness faster than light throughout space or whatever, yeah, I can see time travel in mind. That's just another fancy way to say prophecy.
But so
You know what I'm saying?
is
If I can
this?
see the
Okay,
future
I see what
because of
you're
this
saying.
fucking spice melange,
So is that
it's
how
not
he's
because
seeing the
it's
future?
religious.
He
I'm just
well,
saying.
Well, because
I'm just saying.
he
I don't want to
wasn't
say too
there.
much.
Well,
yeah.
no, but he wasn't on that planet, and presumably people weren't drugging him without him knowing with that stuff, right? For
he
him
was
to be
seeing it
getting his
beforehand.
prophecies.
You did say presumably, so I'll just leave it there.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, that's a bit convoluted. That somebody would have been drugging his mom would have been drugging him the whole time. It would have to be her.
To be
But
fair,
Well,
that's a
she
royal
was
family,
she was giving him.
and look at Earth right now.
look at what right now?
Look at Earth right now. Look at our planet right now. Like
You're gonna have to narrow it
people
down a
think
little
that
bit. There's 8
people
billion
think
people.
people think they killed. I mean, as far as royals, when you're talking about people in positions of power and the things they do to keep that power, it's not really that far fetched to think that somebody would do all kind of crazy shit to themselves, their children, and shit like that. People do that shit in real
I
life.
see what he's saying. Like, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like that actually makes sense. I
Like
mean,
for
we
him,
were just
for her to actually be drugging him
yeah,
for that spice shit to get him or whatever
yeah,
used
and
to
just
it
like
to be
and
able
just
to
like
go-
She
her
must be
husband,
using it too because
and
she
just
saw
like
the
the husband
prophecy
in the
shit.
movie, he even said, "Hey, listen, I knew you wasn't loving me like that. I knew you were with me just to have this kid because you're trying to force this prophecy." You know what I'm saying?
Right.
They say that in the film.
Yeah.
Like they're showing you, like, okay, we doing a lot of shit right here to try to tip the scales of power in this universe, and a lot of people are trying to move a lot of pieces around the board. It's basically Game of Thrones in space.
Yeah, I
You
got
know,
that.
But man, it's just slow, man. It's very, very.
it's definitely slow.
Like,
Did
come
anybody-
on, give us something in 2.5 hours. Like, it really felt like the battle scenes were meh. I mean, they looked nice, but like, it didn't feel like there were any. Aside from a bunch of people dying, like it didn't really feel like there were any stakes.
I didn't even like the battle scenes in this,
No, it wasn't
which
that
was weird.
great.
Like Khal Drogo dying, like it was
anybody-
like they brought in all these stars to make people care about this kid in the movie, to continue the franchise without all the
Right.
big stars, or they just had very minimal roles like Batista.
Right.
But
You-
And then they did that thing where they advertised the whole fucking film based on Zendaya.
She was
Zendaya. She was
barely
in the movie for like 14 seconds. I was
Yeah.
in the movie longer than her.
Right.
They played the same clip over and over of her, and then they ended up using that same clip in the movie. Like we just got to
Right.
see that clip, the full
Yep.
clip. I mean, come
Right.
on, man. Like, and that's the end, and they put it in the trailer.
Right.
I'm
It's
sick of that
fucking-
shit. I'm
yeah.
sick. What happened to teasers?
Right.
Let's go back to teasers for movies instead of
Um,
trailers.
Anybody
Yeah.
watch? Dre, did you watch Foundation
Foundation, not at all.
on Prime?
No.
Isn't that another Star Warsy show?
It reminds me a lot of this. The story's completely different than this. It
Yeah.
doesn't it doesn't remind me at all of this. There's a lot of weirdness going on in Foundation, but I think I only watched the first 3 episodes that were out or whatever. But it was
Oh,
decent.
okay.
Aside from the details, doesn't this feel like really well tread area already?
Yes,
Though.
Yep.
yes.
Yep.
And I think it's because a lot of the stuff that we know and love did take
Was influenced
by this.
Yeah, it's that
You can
It's that
influence
alien-
stuff and not be like amazing, right?
it's
Like,
that alien thing
Sure.
though. You remember
It's
the
the
first
alien
Alien
thing?
and then Aliens?
Yes.
Alien and Aliens with Ripley or whatever.
Right.
You got so many fucking franchises from those movies. Like a lot of shit was influenced by those movies. To the
Right.
point where like even video games like Halo, then you got like Terminator, then you got like every time you turn around, somebody is like doing their spin on like Alien, not just the actual creatures, but
Right.
the technology used in those movies.
Yes.
So when you see shit now, it's hard for the originators to look good because when they come out and say, "Okay, we want to show you our shit again," you're like, "Man, we already saw that shit. We saw that shit in Halo." You know what I'm saying? We saw that
Right,
shit. And I'm
right.
like, no, we made this shit up. People don't care.
I was even saying like to him the other day during a
I
conversation
know exactly what you're gonna say. That's so weird. I was gonna bring it up too.
about the video game thing.
About the way that we knew. I thought you were gonna say about the thing where we knew about, even though I had not seen Star Wars, I knew enough about it in pop culture.
Oh, because of parody.
Because of parody,
right.
but like, there's never been any like Dune parody
Parody,
that landed
correct.
with me to where I knew, oh, that's from Dune. And anytime I see
Me
something
either.
like that, oh, Dune.
It never
You know?
happened. No, it never
True.
happened. I was gonna say
Um,
I was talking about the storytelling in video games getting so good
Okay,
at some points to where it's like
you don't need a movie
you don't
version.
need a movie version. You know,
True.
like for games like God of War and Horizon, like those games. Like I don't need a movie version of those games. You're just gonna take out a whole bunch of the story from the game that I played through. That's not gonna be there because you don't have enough time for that. You know what I mean? Like I get it's a whole different form of storytelling and it's a long-term investment rather than. But it's almost like episodic, just like a TV show. You know, you can play it
So,
12 hours a night. You know, but like
Having said that, sorry, go ahead.
but even like I mean, I'm talking about like storytelling in video games is very, very good at this point. Like, and the acting and voice acting is all depending on what you're playing. You know, if you're playing it with
So did you see Uncharted's trailer?
no, I didn't, not yet.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'll check it out.
yeah.
I gotta play the last
It's-
one. What is it?
kinda
Thieves'
weird.
End? Thieves End.
I don't know. I don't play that game.
You know, you're not a PlayStation guy.
You don't play Uncharted, but you're talking about the trailer.
No, because the trailer for the movie reminded me of
Oh,
the trailer
it's
for
a
the
movie.
game.
I didn't
Like,
know you were
can
talking
see-
about
I didn't
that.
know.
You can
movie.
see the actual they did some of the scenes from that was famous in a game. They did it in a movie. Tom Holland and Mark Wahlberg of all people.
In Uncharted.
Oh,
Yeah.
I think I did see that movie trailer. I didn't know you were
Yeah.
talking about a movie trailer. I thought you were talking about a game.
I thought he was.
Oh no, that's what I was saying.
It was
because
like-
he was talking about.
It was like National
not needing
Treasury.
to make a.
Yeah, well,
yeah,
that's what those movies are. That's what the
Yeah.
game is like. Yeah.
Yeah.
It
I
looks
mean,
like
it
it's going
looked
to be a
o-
lot of action.
Yeah, it looked okay. I'm sure it'll be haha funny. You know, it'll be fine.
Mark Wahlberg and well, that's the movie. The games were like that. He's real smart assy and fucking.
Yeah, I mean,
game. See, those games to me, it's always like they were good, but there was like an AK-47, and that was it. Like that, like in every level, no matter where you went, like that was the only automatic rifle. Was like an AK-47. It's like it didn't have any like variety as far as like the guns.
you need different weaponry.
Yeah.
You get bored with the standard AK.
Right,
Yeah.
right. I need variety in my murder.
Right.
Right. But their platforming in that game was really good. The jumping and fucking figuring out how to get to get to a fucking ledge that was, it was
Can
fun.
they? Do you
Yeah,
think this
I
is
like
a?
Tomb Raider too.
You think this is a
Tomb Raider was
franchise
good.
that could be gamed?
Dune?
You
Yeah.
say what?
Do you think they could make a game out of Dune?
Nope,
Nope.
not a
What?
chance.
It's not interesting enough.
It's because
Like,
if
what
you're
would you
gonna
be
stay
doing?
true to the source material, it's gonna be boring as all hell.
Well,
Right.
then why does everybody? Why it sounds like you love the source material?
Because
Why?
I like story. Like, all right, put it
That's
like this.
fair.
Ask Jeremy. Ask Jeremy. I I don't like playing video games that have a co-op when I'm online when people talking in a headset because I like to listen to the story. I
Okay.
like I like long form storytelling.
Right.
I like to see characterization. I like people having story arcs and shit like that.
So there's a more interesting version of what we
Yeah,
just saw,
yeah, but
just with
it's
shit
not.
graphics.
It's just not suitable for video games. Like I would not play a game where I'm sitting there listening to a guy talk for 45 minutes about political intrigue and shit like that. I'm like,
It's
fuck
Star
out of
Wars
here.
Episode 1 again.
All right, pretty
That scene
much.
was
It's
not
like I don't want to
45
play this
When
shit.
will people learn? Is that where they got it from? I swear, if they took that from Dune and didn't realize that
I
had
mean,
to be
like
the
I
most
said, a
boring
lot of the
part.
shit you could see, man. You like this, like just watching this, like if you watch this and you didn't even know it was a book or know that it existed,
You'd
in
think,
a sort of,
wow, this is
wow,
derivative.
this is really derivative. But if you know what I'm saying, yeah, but if you
Right?
watch,
Doesn't it seem
am
that
I
way?
wrong?
I don't know why I just put that person in the front row of the movie theater in my imagination.
What, this is
I'm
really
sorry.
derivative?
Yeah, the guy saying that was way too close to the screen. I
Yeah.
don't know why. It's just fucking weird.
That's great.
This happened in Star Wars. Didn't anybody see Star Wars?
Yeah.
Like this book is from
Oh,
1965. You asshole.
I
Shut
don't
the fuck
care.
up.
They took too long to make a movie then. Their time has passed.
Like I said, what? Yeah, I was saying that here. The scale of this did not seem like it warranted, like the whole like we can't make this movie. It can't be done. You know what I mean?
Like they could
Well,
have.
like,
They
to
could
be
have.
fair,
I don't
to
know.
be fair, they didn't, and so clearly they couldn't. You understand what I mean?
yeah, but
Like,
I think I would argue
they
that
didn't
other,
show the
other
scale
things,
the way it should have been shown. So
well,
technically,
fair
they
enough.
were right.
All right. I'm just saying that like there's been things that have of a bigger scale put on screen.
Yeah, but you know, I don't think some people know how to handle certain shit. I don't think that guy knew how to handle alien-looking humans who was so disfigured by being
You talking about the
in the
director?
spice trade. Yeah, I think he had his style and he wanted everything to look clean and beautiful,
Right.
and he was only willing to go so dirty with the Harkonnens.
I think
So
that
he tamed that. You know what I mean? And it's like I
Right.
don't think everybody is built to make everything.
yeah.
So
Well,
I
this
mean,
dude said
it's what it is.
he was making what he used to see in his head when he read the books, which I think is a cool concept. However, if it's not what
Yeah, but she's fucking with the
everybody's
studio money, man.
right,
It's just going so slowly. It feels like they could have condensed this, and I know that that's your complaint about it is them condensing, but like I feel like they could have jammed more character stuff into it easily
Yeah.
no, like
and
if I-
told the same story in
No.
probably half the time.
No, honestly, like seriously, like there was scenes in it where it was like, dude, like we're watching him stand there taking off a scarf. Like
Yeah, and he's
pulling
like
a
he's
scarf.
even taking the scarf off
And see,
slowly.
Like
That's
this
my
scene was
point.
like a minute and a half long. Like we could have had
Because
some dialogue in that motherfucker.
thought that shit was beautiful. You understand
Right.
what I mean?
Yeah, I get it.
He was
I
like,
get,
I
no,
gotta
he's
get
super
this
artsy.
fucking shot.
I get it.
So-
The director
so-
is like that. I got it from like watching like some YouTube interviews when I was trying to get into this movie, like watching
Okay.
some
Yeah.
stuff like that. So seeing him talk about it, yeah, he's super fucking artsy. Like, yeah.
Right, and that guy didn't give a fuck that he took three of the characters out of that scene. Two of which had internal dialogue that you was supposed to record, who would tell you basically give you the backstory of what was going on in the scene with the other motherfucker. Take all that shit out and let's show this bitch turn around and walk for a few minutes.
Yeah,
Why
I mean, there
not?
was. I
'Cause
felt
it looks
like there
good.
was a lot of that. Like it looks good, but like here, like we're like lingering on these fucking shots way too
But-
long, and like it could have fit. Like how much dialogue can you fit in 30 seconds? Like a lot. You can fit a lot
A
of
lot.
talking in 30 seconds for sure.
Dude,
And it's just like
those some
30
of those information dumps were really word heavy.
Right.
Like when they were talking about the imperial
At the very
this and
beginning,
yeah.
and it feels like they was like.
And I'm just like,
Like
whoa,
a
whoa,
fucking,
those
like,
things are
oh.
building on each other. What are you talking about here?
Right, yeah.
Yeah. That first thing started. This movie started off with like a weird alien voice or some shit, and it was like a half a line of dialogue. It was a half a line of dialogue at the bottom of the screen.
Yeah.
Here's the thing: the original started with the fucking lady floating in space like a giant space baby. She told you the whole shit. She told you everything that was happening. She told you about the houses. She told you about the spice melange. She told you about why it's important.
I feel like that happened at the beginning of this.
In a way, it was
In a
just
way.
voiceovered.
Yeah,
Differently, probably.
it's I don't know. You know what? It's not a bad film.
No,
It's
I
not bad,
Mm.
but I can see so many places that it can be improved, and the fact that
That's
I
a
can
good
see
sign
it
of a bad
without,
film.
That's exactly what I was about to say. And the fact that I can see it without having watched it 15 times, and I can just, hey, you should have did that different. And yeah, it's exactly what I said in my text message to you. Jeremy, did you tell Joel about it?
Which one?
My non-spoilery
It says need to
sports
up the
review.
volume.
Oh, yeah,
It's
I'll
a
read
little
it, I'll
late
read
at
it.
this point, but I will keep that in mind for next time.
He
I
said
just
not.
I just read one of the comments that need to up the volume. So yeah, I mean I could, but at this point the whole podcast has been recorded at this volume. So I'll have to.
Oh.
I'll have to
Unless they're
I'll have-
talking about the movie, because Dune, the volume was low in that shit too.
I mean,
feel like it's like that in all movies.
I am
nowadays.
not a fan of the movie mix where everything has to be real time volume wise, where it's like they'll be whispering and you're like, what? So you turn it up and then there's an explosion and it just explodes your stereo.
Yeah, I've had that happen a
Oh,
couple
Kenny
times.
G. So what? It's not coming through on YouTube loud enough? Is that what they're saying?
Right. I mean, I think it was, I was listening to it on YouTube. It seemed to be coming through
Oh,
okay.
Well, let's not try to fix it on there.
Right.
So his comment when he first texted, this is before I even asked him if he wanted to do this podcast with us. He said, "Not that I was asked, but here's my analogy-based review of Dune 2021."
Who's this?
Dre.
Okay.
This is me.
Right. So like this is the equivalent of the Pats going undefeated and losing the Super Bowl, or like splitting up the Bulls after the second three-peat, or most accurately, like receiving mouth love from Holly Berry and then she tries to kiss you afterwards.
Yep. I stand on that review.
But that's all too glorifying of
No,
this.
no,
It's-
think about those moments again.
I know, but
Well,
like,
It's beautiful as shit, but it's so fucking painful. Like, why did you do that? Why?
I guess
That's
I don't have
my
the
feeling.
emotional connection to it, so it doesn't hurt me. It was just boring by the end. Like, again, for some reason, I had these rose-colored glasses on through most of the movie, where I'm like, this is gonna be cool. Like this
I
is
was really waiting for a
like
right.
this is building to something. Like they're going somewhere. They're gonna drop something that blows my mind, and then nothing.
Cooking something up.
We kept pausing the movie. We paused after the first hour, then we paused when there was 20 minutes left, and we're like, there's 20 minutes left? Nothing has fucking happened. What is going on?
Yeah, it was like we both kind of got irritated at the point.
And then
like 30 minutes
the
left
rest of the movie was clouded in my view, because I'm just like, this can't possibly wrap up in any satisfactory way
Not
that will
where
make
it
me
was.
feel like it was worth 2+ hours. And I was in for the first hour and 45. I just don't get
they
it.
ran in the sand, Joel. What else do you want?
I mean, we were sitting there, and they said that at the beginning, and I go, you know what? They never even did that goofy sandwalk thing. And then the guy goes, "Are we ready to do the sandwalk thing?"
It was like
He said it. He said it.
said
And
it.
then they didn't do it.
Right.
They did it.
That's
No.
the shit that fucked me up.
But they did it at the end.
They did it at the end, is what I'm saying.
That's what I'm saying. At the end, when he said it to his mom, he was like, "We got to walk like this, blah blah blah." Right?
I thought
they
it was him and the
started-
girl.
It was him and his mom.
No,
Oh,
it was his mom.
Okay.
And he said, "We got to do this thing," and they started doing it. And then when they cut to the next scene of them walking in the desert, they were just fucking
They
walking.
were just walking.
Oh, fair enough.
That's because if anybody tried to do that while walking through the desert, they would die.
It'd look
within the
fucking
first mile.
crazy
They would
too.
just fucking-
I mean,
yeah.
it would look crazy as
And it
shit,
would look
but it was.
crazy.
I
But
don't
dude,
know.
so she draws the whole fucking worm by just fucking banging her fist a couple times on the ground, and
Right.
then the worm comes. I don't know.
I mean, I just didn't see the point for most of it. Like, I thought, I'm thinking that if I can be so bold, I know he knows where it's going. I think that the one kid, whoever he is, I think
Paul. His name is Paul.
Paul.
Paul Atreides.
Okay, Paul.
And then Duncan, Idaho. That's a dumb
That's
name.
a really dumb name. Like,
Listen, man. it
wow,
was
that
the
was
60s.
stupid.
It was the
Duncan.
60s. There was a lot of drugs, bro. You gotta relax.
Duncan.
We're gonna call this guy Duncan, Idaho. Fuck yeah, man.
That'll be so cool. He'll be badass. Duncan, Idaho.
This dude with
Oh my
swords. He
God.
looks like
It'll
a
be
guy
Khal
named Jason
Drogo, but we'll
Momoa.
make him shave.
What do we call him? Call Solo.
Call Solo. Yeah, he looked like
Oh my
a
God.
mix of I think that
That's
I
funny.
think that what his goal is going to end up being is to do that thing that they like fluttered on a mention of about how it could be a paradise if they weren't worried about the stuff. I think
Right.
he's going to
Mhm.
eventually get rid of the stuff or turn the place into what it
Turn
should
the
be.
planet into a paradise. Yeah.
Yeah, like, and if
Free
that's
the water.
if that's really where this whole thing's going, and I'm able to call it when they barely even mentioned it, like, I'm gonna be disappointed with that. Like, I hope it's better than that.
That's not what he's gonna do. That's just what he wants to do.
Okay, so he's not even gonna try.
I mean, I'm not giving that away. I'm just saying, like,
he's not. I just
it's
think that's gonna
obvious
be
that
something
he's
he's
gonna
gonna
wanna do
try.
that. he got the pretty girl from his dream shows up in the desert and,
And
shit
says
after he
the
got
same.
chased by a
No new
sandworm.
information. I'd be like, you said all this in my visions. Tell me something new.
She was like, "Bitch, I didn't know I was in your visions. I don't."
Well, now you know.
I don't know you, motherfucker.
I didn't think it was going to be like when you watch a
Visions.
comedy movie trailer and all the good jokes are in there, and then when you watch the movie, those are the only good jokes. Like, that's what's happening
Yeah.
here.
Mhm.
I've seen all your best bits. Tell me something
You know
else.
what's really crazy? Is that's pretty much what they did. And it's,
Oh, yeah, they
it's
did.
crazy because you thought that those scenes from the trailer would be like
Building to
extended
something.
or even extended and
Yeah.
longer.
Even
Nope, that
extended,
was pretty
yeah.
much it in the trailer.
Yeah.
Right.
That was
I-
it.
Like the one thing I guess I did kind of like was that the knives, like those crystal knives, were made out of
The teeth
the
of
teeth
the.
of the sandworm. That's kind of cool.
I mean, there's potential there, but it doesn't feel like they scratched the surface of it enough. Again, long form would be better. This would work better as a series.
Lots of sword fighting for a space, you know, adventure,
Yeah.
which I don't mind. I like sword fighting.
Projectile weaponry don't really work because the way the shields work.
Oh, okay, that makes a lot of sense now because they have to get close to the slow blade penetrates the shield.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
So,
the
yeah,
shields were
that's-
kind of cool. That looked like a video game. That was
Right.
kind of interesting. They're blue if they're not stabbing them in the right spot. You know, they're
Or
red
not,
if they're
so
gonna die.
Right, if they're coming at them too fast. Or
You
whatever.
got to see you got to see the shield from the O.
Oh, come on, man. That's gonna be ridiculous.
Oh my god, it was so bad.
I mean,
But it
that
was
it
so
looked
good.
it looked cool. Okay, one thing that we almost forgot to talk about. I this is just my crazy theory on this, but I think that because of when this thing was written, I don't even know when helicopters were invented. Okay.
Oh, you're talking about the dumb dragonfly space.
Yes, but I think that they were meant to look like dragonflies because they're like, what if we did something with dragons? But we need something that flies. Well, we could do a dragonfly, and then they literally just that'll be futuristic, and it's dumb as shit. Like, it's really dumb and inefficient, and
It's
like
like,
I
how
like the
can this-
tucking part, like that part's cool, but the rest of it is really dumb and flappy. Like, I don't know. Thoughts?
She seems like inefficient technology.
I've heard that it was more accurate to the
Michelle
book.
said "Receiving Mouth Love," new band name. I don't know where the hell that came from. Did somebody say
Nice.
that?
No, that's yes. Receiving mouth love from Holly Berry.
Nice.
That's great.
But no, I heard that the vehicles in the movie are a lot closer to what was in the books originally. But I will say, like, scientifically, I mean, dude, we flying through space on like fucking sparkle sand. I don't really like, if I
Isn't
don't know how
that
to say it,
midichlorians?
like, I really don't really.
Isn't that midichlorians?
Sparkle sand.
No.
Oh, come on! Tell me the difference between sparkle sand and midichlorians and make it not sound
Well, to be
equally
fair,
as ridiculous.
No, that's my point. It's ridiculous as shit. So I don't really like
Okay.
aerodynamics and shit. It's like, you know, you got a fat dude just floating over a table and shit, and everybody is like following him, even though his brother or nephew or whoever the fuck dude was.
I was way
It's
more
like-
interested in when that dude was a really tall guy. It was way
Yeah.
more like that was super interesting. I'm like, that is
And now he's
very
just floating
creepy.
guy,
And now
he's
he's
not
just some
this-
floating dude, and I don't care at all. Like,
He's just
Ah.
just
I was
floating
like,
with
man, he keeps
floating with long
changing
pajamas.
his height. Like, that's so impressive.
But his arms stay the same length.
Yeah.
Like, you can't reach me from up there. You gotta come back down here to reach me, motherfucker.
Oh my god, that's silly. But no, I get it. But yeah, I like the look of the movie, so I'll give it that.
It was
And
very
because
dark.
I know the story, I didn't really judge the movie based on the story so much, so that's why I kind of still like it. But the shit that they took out of it, yeah, it's infuriating.
I kind
It's
of
like
still
some
like
of the
it.
shit is just kind of stupid.
I kind of still like it. Like, it's not like
I'm interested.
I want to see where it
ends up,
goes
Yeah.
because if it goes somewhere that was worth the slow, it doesn't feel like something that would get somebody wrapped into a franchise. Like,
No.
it feels like they did not achieve that goal of like it being the first installment. Like, even something as dumb, admittedly, as like Maze Runner. You know what I mean? Like, I was at least slightly interested in that. By it moved, it progressed. It felt like it was going somewhere, and then it was like, oh, next level is bigger. As dumb as that concept is, and as CW as those movies are, that made me go, you know what? I'll watch the next one. It's fluff entertainment, but it
What's
moved.
that dude's name? Like, he actually got pretty jacked, didn't he? The dude from Maze Runner.
I don't know.
He didn't he do a movie called like American Assassin or something like that?
I have no clue.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I wouldn't even be able to tell you.
Wait. The Maze Runner was the one with the kids
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
that they was trying to find a cure for like a zombie virus or some shit
Some
like that.
shit like
Something
that.
like
Yeah.
that, yeah.
Uh-huh.
I think last one I watched, they was out there with like Giancarlo Esposito or
Yeah.
some shit.
Isn't there 3 of them?
There's 3. Yeah, I think.
I thought it was
think they
3
were
or 4.
Pretty good.
They weren't bad. I mean,
No.
those, but like, my point is, if you're gonna try to hook people on a franchise, give them something. Like, they didn't give me anything beyond a little bit of mythology, a little bit of backstory, kind of
And
thing.
a lot of long, beautiful shots.
Yeah, a lot of long, drawn out
So,
stuff that didn't move.
Just to be clear, Joel does not like slow over the shoulder look backs from Zendaya. I'm gonna go ahead.
No, I'm good with that.
Well, I mean,
Mark that down.
anything less than 8 times, I'd be okay with.
Right.
But we saw it 8 plus. I'm positive.
Right.
Oh my god. Well, I mean, you still have Aquaman. Hey, you know what? Shout out to Jason Momoa real quick. He's like the only motherfucker in Hollywood that I could think of off the top of my head that never changes his hair for any role.
Right, he shaved. I
That's
was surprised
impressive.
about that. But
Right.
yeah, like
That's
he-
impressive.
I'd like to
Right.
see. I want a movie to be like, yeah, you know what? We need like a coif haircut. We need like Jeremy's
Right. Right.
for Jason
right.
Momoa. Like, we want to see you in a business suit or something. Like,
Right. And he
nah.
like, how about
I
I,
could
play
do-
it like this?
how
And
about
they
I do
like,
a
"All right."
man bun?
No, it was like, how about you make my hair like it was when I was on Stargate Atlantis? Like that's what you're gonna get from me.
Oh, taking it back. Nice.
Sawyer and Michelle are having a
Nice.
conversation in the chat. Sawyer comes in. Hi, father. Hello, father. I am your son.
Oh, okay, very good. Michelle says, "So is the movie like Star Wars?" Oh my god.
Is that what she said? So was the movie like? I mean,
In a
It-
way,
yes,
In a way, or
yes.
Star Wars is like this.
it was very much like Star Wars in as much as it seemingly had a lot more potential and underplayed its hand, or just didn't really live up to what it feels like it could have been.
It still has potential.
It does, but
That
dude,
guy's stupid.
2.5 hours.
That guy is really stupid. That fucking director. I'm sorry. I'm gonna just call it.
Villanueva
enjoy-
or whatever his name is.
Yeah. I think he played basketball, but yeah.
Yeah, college. I
no,
think it was in college.
Yeah.
I think you're talking about Villanova.
No, Charlie Villanueva was a basketball player.
I
in the
know. Come
NBA.
on, don't mess with my
And-
joke. That was supposed
No,
to be a
I'm
subtle
sorry.
one. Villain. No, Jeremy.
No,
I
I was
meant.
with you, and then Jeremy kind of like he.
Yeah, he
kinda
stomped on it.
maybe
Yeah,
Hey,
yeah.
you
fucked
get the
it up.
joke because this is why it's funny.
Yeah.
Did I just do that?
Yeah,
to
you
I'm
did that.
sorry.
Yeah, sorry.
But no, anyway,
Why did I say sorry? Fuck you. Sorry,
no,
I'm not
that
sorry. I'm just not sorry.
no, that director is a fucking moron. I'm sorry. I have to say it because I'll say this: you can have good source material, and you can have shitty source material, and you can have a good art style. This
So
guy got a good art style and just shat on the fucking source material. He had some good shit there. He could have used it, but he was too scared. I think
why would he be too scared?
because the political climate we dealing with right now. Like
Go
that
on.
dude, that
Explain
guy,
why that would.
The Harkonnen chief general, whoever the fuck it is, fat guy with long legs. He he likes young boys. In the first film, they showed him like licking the dude face.
I see. Like you said, that
And then
repugnant stuff in a matter of
yeah,
seconds, they could show it on
but and
screen.
then so as soon as you
Like
saw it, you was like,
Walter
oh shit,
Frey,
that's
like you
fucked
just
up.
knew almost
Yeah.
immediately, like, okay, this dude is,
Yeah, this dude is fucked up,
Yeah.
and you don't have to question the decision making after that. But this one was like, yeah,
They didn't make
they
him enough of a villain.
not even just that. They didn't make anybody enough of anything.
You're
Yeah.
right. They
Like I
didn't.
said,
Yeah.
the kid, Paul Atreides, was supposed to be a fucking formidable fighter.
He was
He was
though.
supposed to. No,
I mean, he didn't really have to fight until the end, and when he did, I mean, admittedly, he fought some underling lackey that was like,
yeah,
I'm challenging. Now, what was
yeah.
that
And
shit all
this
about?
guy was
This
literally just waving the "I'm gonna die in a few second" flag.
right,
Like you knew he was gonna win that fight.
but what happened
There's no
was
tension.
bizarre. The mom kicked the leader's ass, and then the guy was like, "I challenge. Who's her steward or whatever? Who's her
champion.
who's
Because
her champion?" But what? She whooped his ass. Fight her. What is
no,
she your
because this
champion
is
for?
Paul's turn, buddy.
But why? For
Because
for
of-
no
because the
logical
director
reason,
said
only
so,
for
damn it.
story purposes. Like only because that's what you wanted it to be. She
Yeah.
can clearly handle her own. She took out your leader. So fight her? It was very strange.
Also, my whole thing was she
So
took
I
out
he
just
the
got the
leader.
feeling like the old dude was kind of on his way out. Like if the
Yeah.
black dude would have challenged the old dude, like he would have beat him.
I'll ask you this question: why the fuck did he have a vision of that guy and speak of him, or during the vision of that same guy he wound up killing, he was talking about it like he was a new friend?
That's because he had seen him. He had seen him in his
I'm
dreams.
asking you. I'm just asking. Some of those choices don't make sense, and when you do shit like that to an audience, they get confused. This shit is just weird.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't even notice that, but that is weird.
Yeah, watch it back. Watch it. He
Yeah,
had
I
a
mean,
vision of that
when
guy.
when the new one comes out, I'll watch both again. But like, dude, I'm not
You
gonna.
don't want to watch that shit again.
Give me something like some sort of a payoff, and I didn't get anything out of this movie.
You got worm belly.
It was nothing. It was just like, okay, you showed us the world, great. Anything more? Like, is there anything else going on that we could? I don't know. It didn't progress. I would have liked,
I
15
just like
more
to point
things to
out that
happen.
everybody has some really harsh critiques of this film, and all of us have agreed we still like it. So that says something.
I'll be right back.
Yeah, I mean,
Isn't that weird though? Like
It is.
you don't normally hear that, and that's basically par for the course for Doom. People find this shit weird as fuck, and still like it for some reason.
Yeah, that's the part I haven't quite reached yet. I don't the for some reason part. Like, I mean,
Yeah,
I did like I said, I liked the first half of the movie, but when we paused it at about an hour, Jeremy even remarked, "Man, this is moving really slow for an hour in. Like, it felt like we should be at something." And I wasn't really like dying for action, but I wanted something more, and I just wasn't getting it. And I can't even really articulate what it was missing.
oh
But
yeah, it was
it's
missing some stuff.
it's the same stuff that Star Wars misses. Like they gloss over a bunch of stuff and don't go into enough depth. And then, like you said, the character building is the most important thing about
Yeah,
about a movie, a show, anything like that. Caring about them, Like it's why I like Lost so much. You can anybody can complain all they want about answers not being given or this or that. That show was about the people. And like they did it right where the characters were the focus and the other stuff, the sci-fi elements were sprinkled in as like bonus. You
Yeah, I
know, like
like the characters in Lost.
they did a great job with them and like they came full circle or some of them didn't and it you know what I mean, however it played out. I could be mad at certain character choices or whatever, but shows that came after that didn't get that right. They really leaned into the sci-fi stuff and not
Yeah.
so much the character, like Flash Forward and like there's a million shows like that post
Oh yeah,
Lost that
that shit
just
happened with the Matrix too. A lot of people saw the martial arts and the gunplay in the Matrix, and they forgot that this fucking movie was about some metaphysical, like self-realization type shit. That's what the movie was about. But everybody was like, "Ooh, guns in fucking slow motion." You know what I'm saying? Like they don't know how to do the character part. So yeah, it was a
I think
lot
the
of
new
shit that was.
Matrix is going to be really, really good.
yeah.
Yeah.
I think that the new Matrix will be a movie.
I think
That's
he's
as far
right.
as I'm willing to go with
I
that.
think he's right because like it feels like another one of those things where we don't have a new idea yet. Like
I
even with
think
this Dune thing, like
I don't
come
know,
on,
man.
just somebody write something new. Somebody should have looked at this and thought all of this stuff has been done for the most part. Again, I don't know where it's going, so maybe that stuff hasn't been done to where it's worth the journey to get there. Like where they were in Game of Thrones, they're like, we just want to get to the Red Wedding. You
But
know,
to
like
keep it real with you, let me ask you a question.
okay,
So you said, like you already said, Joel, you already said that you don't really know what it is you was missing, and I'm not giving anything away. I'm just asking, as a for instance, if you had added some scenes, maybe at about the 45 to 50 minute mark, where they just showed some of the witches doing some shit off world or anywhere, like controlling people and
or some
moving,
history or something like
right,
that, some sort of a
moving some chess
flashback,
pieces behind the scenes and shit like that. It
helping
would
to
kind
make
of,
it feel larger, like the scale,
yeah,
like
you'd be
it's
like, oh man, I gotta wait to see, I gotta see this bitch on screen again. Wonder what she doing. You know what I'm saying? How they got the mother involved in
right.
what she owed him, and well, you know, shit like that. It would kind of bring you in a little bit more.
I would have liked to see why the mother is so willing to put up with the shit from her mom. You know what I mean? Like that
Hmm.
thing with the test with the hand. Like
Hmm.
to me that and she was so subservient and it can't just be that they're scared of Boomy voice. Like come on. I don't know. That wasn't that impressive, but that's supposed to be like their big power that they can
Well,
make people do stuff, I guess.
well, I'll silence myself on that one. But yeah, I'll bow out of that one.
Is that
But yeah,
is it a cooler power than I'm giving it
yeah,
credit for right now?
it's
Okay.
some other stuff behind it too, and even with the like the box and the needle to the neck and all that shit. It's a reason why they treat it so severely, but it's like you should know
Well,
that
she
because you just
explained it.
watched the movie
Yeah, she
and they.
explained it. She
But no, I'm
said,
saying you should know more.
"Oh,
Like you should
yeah,
feel better about what they gave you, and they didn't give you enough. And I know,
Oh,
like
he's
that's the
saying
part
they
that
should have
pisses
given
me
us
off.
more information.
Like
He's
I
upset because
know
they.
why you feel like some of the shit wasn't enough because it
right."
wasn't. You know what I'm saying? I'm looking like, that's yeah, they fucked that up. They fucked that up a lot. Like the fucking the guy looking up in the air and his eyes turn white.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
You
the
know what those guys are, right?
oh yeah, because they really went in depth with it.
No.
No, I have no idea who that is.
I mean, it's
Does he have
okay.
cataracts?
Okay, wait.
I don't know.
What are they?
Wait, before what? Let me just try to guess from context before you tell me.
Okay.
Fire
They're
away.
like they're like psychics almost. They can communicate with people. They
Wargs?
can do. The dude did like math, like right off the top of his head. Like they super fucking smart. Like
You're getting warm.
know
Is
what
he
I mean? Like-
tapping into a central consciousness?
They're like the computers of the new
okay.
humanity because we lost technology. That's another reason.
So they're
Uh,
Google.
Well, they're the Google, they're the calculator, they're the internet, they're all that shit.
Yeah.
And they're also another signpost that we living in a back in the day style future, if that makes sense. It's like an ancient society and it's
Is
futuristic.
this
So
another
it
one of
kind of
those things where everything, all the technology and shit got wiped out and we had to start over,
there
and
you
so we're
go.
not? I mean, but like, as much as I like those kind of shows, for the most part, I don't know. It just feels so tread on already. I guess that's my issue with it. It feels like
And,
territory we didn't need to re-explore.
and that's why we gotta stop remaking these old fucking franchises because it's unfair to the creators to be judged by the fact that a lot of people saw the imitation before they
Right.
saw the creation.
Yeah. I
You know
mean,
what I
and
mean?
that's an
So
unfortunate side
it's
effect.
fucked up. You know
It's
what I'm
not their
saying?
fault, but it is. They didn't get it made. Like, you should have got it made before Star Wars got on the air. Like, he figured out a
Facts.
way to do it to where it was commercially successful and people loved it. I don't personally think it's the greatest stuff ever made because, like, those scenes are really slow sometimes. I'm like, come on, we've been in this trash compactor for like 13 minutes. Let's go. Like, get on with it. But that he figured out a way to get his creation and his idea out there when it was still fresh.
Right.
And this one is just, it's 60 years too late.
Right.
I mean, not that it would have been great in the 60s, but like, at least you would have been like, oh, okay, finally they're giving a good visual to that awesome story that we saw before. That just, it was in the wrong time. But no, same thing. We'd still be sitting here going, they did that already. We've seen it all.
Yeah, true.
Like, is there something in here that's going to blow our minds later on? Like, where
No,
we're like, oh man, I'm
I
glad.
refuse to even say that. No, there's nowhere in hell you will not be mind blown
Okay.
at all.
Well, that's disappointing.
That's very
No,
disappointing.
no, no, no. To be fair, time out. When was the last time you saw anything in cinema that blew your mind?
In cinema,
Well, that's
Cinema
that's a different question.
or
I don't watch
television.
a lot of times.
in television, the last thing that
When was
really
the last
blew
one?
my mind was Hold the Door.
Really?
Hold the Door.
Are you saying there's more stuff since then?
No, I'm never mind blown in cinema at all, ever.
Really? You don't ever not see a twist coming?
I see twists coming some. I mean, I don't see twists coming sometimes, but even when the twist comes, it's not like I'm sitting there like, holy fuck, that was cold. No, never. I was like, oh, okay, that's cool.
I mean, just once or twice, just to name like one random one from Lost. You just mentioned it the other day when he goes, but the plane, everybody died or whatever on the plane crash. You know, at the end of the episode.
Oh.
Because it had been playing with people's
they said they
ideas
found the
that it was,
plane.
yeah, they found the plane. Everybody died or whatever. And he's
Right.
like, wait, what?
What?
You know,
Yeah, I
like
thought
that
shit
kind of a
was stupid.
thing, because it's like, well, they had been playing with that idea that it was purgatory or whatever
Right.
and fucking with people. And by saying that, it was like, wait, did they just fucking confirm that? And then you had to wait for the next installment. Like, that at least made me, I don't know if that's necessarily the best of a mind blower, but
I think Kaiser Soze walking straight at the end of like the Usual Suspects was. I
It's a
was
good
like,
one.
oh, that was it.
That
That was it.
the end of Saw, the original Saw,
You know what?
dude
I watched
stands
that
up
whole
out,
shit.
out of the middle of the room.
I watched the whole shit and I was like, oh, okay, the dead body was the fucking guy. That's crazy as hell.
Yeah.
And that was it. I didn't really have a reaction to it because I read a lot. I hate to be the nerd guy.
so are you just like spoiling yourself to where like either
Yeah,
you already know
it's-
the
you know, it's
content
not a
of
lot of
something,
stories
or
to tell. It's how many stories can you tell?
they all end
You
up
know what I'm
being
saying?
about the same kind of general
Yeah,
premises, you know.
you run it down the same little scenario.
That's why I
over
like
and over
TV
again.
shows so much more nowadays because they get so much more in depth than just the save the world type of thing.
Man, I hope they do something right with La Brea because like that the acting is not great so far and some of the CGI is terrible, but like the premise is kind of interesting. Have you watched any of it?
Nah. La Brea is the show about the big ass hole.
Yeah, and then like
I'm just.
I was
guessing from
surprised by
fucking
the
thumbnail.
second episode the amount of information they had given. Like, I think they even teased it in the thing. Like, Jeremy said he watched a trailer for it, and it was like, are they in the past or whatever? And it's just like,
So it's not just an earthquake show.
no. It's like a...
Really?
yeah.
Like they fall through and go into some
Fall
other
through
world.
and they fall through and go into the past. There's
Ah.
dinosaurs and shit. Like
Oh.
there's
Okay.
saber-toothed tigers there, but the CGI is not great. But like they're in the same place they fell through the hole, and like some of the stuff that was with them, cars and whatever else, boom, is just sitting there. Like a
Right.
street sign managed to stick itself in the thing. So like
Hmm.
I don't know, it's kind of an interesting concept, but I was surprised that they confirmed where they were so quickly. It was like, oh shit, where's this going? Like that
Well, see,
Departure crap that I watched on, I think it was on Netflix. Have you ever watched Departure?
no.
It was a show about a plane that went missing. And I'm thinking this is going to be like Manifest or like Lost or something. They're going to land somewhere. They're not going to know where they went. By the end of the first episode, they'd almost already found the plane. And then it was like 6 episodes. And I'm like, what the hell did I just
What the
watch?
fuck was the point?
And then mind-numbingly enough, there's a season 2. And it's about I'm like, how are they going to follow up that train wreck? Oh, with a train wreck. Okay.
You know,
It was literally a
like,
train wreck in season 2.
yeah, that's like that's fucking weird. I don't want to say that R word, but that's bad. But
Yeah.
no, that's my problem. Like I said, I read too much and I read a lot of stories, so it's hard to be like surprised by certain shit because like I've seen those type of stories. Like even with La Brea, I remember a book directly that was talking about like the future of mankind, and half the people would like went feral and the other half of the people were like connected so intrinsically with their fucking like technology that they lost their humanity, and then this character like went back in time to it was all kind of weird. I read those type of stories, so when I see it like in film and shit, like it's just like okay, I saw that before. But I will
Okay.
tell you this,
But you get excited about Marvel stuff, don't you?
I get excited, but I'm not mind blown.
There's
You know what I
never
mean?
been
Like I'm not.
anything in there that was like, holy shit, they did that?
Yes, the holy shit thing that got me was they did an actual comic book panel style fucking scene in Spider-Man.
Far from
What was it?
home.
Far From Home. Oh
The
my god, when he
Mysterio
was
scene.
fighting Mysterio, it brought me right back to my childhood
It was
because
really cool.
that
Yeah,
shit looked just like the fucking cartoon, and it was real life. And I was
it was badass.
that
Yeah.
shit kind of fucked me up for a second. I gotta be honest. I was like, holy shit! Like somebody made a cartoon real life. Like that's crazy. That was
Do
pretty
you
cool.
think we'll get the? Do you think it's just a bunch of like talk, or do you think we'll get the like Spider-Man pointing at each other in the new
As,
movie?
I hope not,
Spider-Man
because I
playing each other.
fucking hate the internet.
You've never seen
I
that meme?
Oh
the
yeah,
meme.
okay, yeah, I've seen it. Yeah.
I hate the internet and
I hate the
fucks
internet.
everything. Yeah, the internet fuck everything up, dude. Like that was like a signpost for like the X-Men franchise going downhill.
What
Was
was?
dude was Vinny Jones running through the wall saying, "I'm the Juggernaut, bitch." Like, yeah, okay, yep, that was perfect for the quality of what that movie turned out to be. And everything after that was fucking terrible. Because the first X-Men was good, the second X-Men was better.
I
X-Men
like the
3
Days of
and
Future
everything
Past
after that
one.
was
You,
until we got to that.
you
Yeah.
didn't like the Future Past
Yeah,
one?
he
Days
just-
of Future Past was fucking awesome.
It was
And
good.
then at
Then they followed it up with fucking Apocalypse.
then they did the Rick roll of all Rick rolls. Them motherfuckers did a post credit scene where they showed ancient Egypt and they showed fucking Apocalypse, Anubis and Noor, fucking building the pyramids. And I was like, holy shit, they doing my favorite character of all time.
Mm-hmm.
That's Apocalypse.
Yep.
And I'm like, they doing my favorite character. I almost shit myself in the theater and I'm a grown ass man. I was so fucking excited. And then they put that bullshit out.
Yeah. The movie was
Fuck Fox.
garbage.
Fuck the X-Men. Fuck all of them. I say all that to say, hey, Doom might get better. I don't know.
I want it to. I'm hoping that
It
it
might get
becomes
better.
something, but like genuinely, it doesn't feel like we're getting anything that's
No,
worth
I'll be honest
investing
with you.
into all these characters to where like
Just
in
watch
10
it to
years
watch
we'll
it.
be talking about, oh man, that character Paul.
Right.
Nothing.
No, just
No
watch-
offense,
I'm
Paul,
being
if you're
real with you. Just-
watching.
Right.
My friend Paul.
Just watch it to
I'm
watch it.
named
You would
after Paul.
honestly.
So it wasn't
would
worth doing this
honestly-
podcast. Is that what you're saying?
No, it is because it's a big topic and a lot of people got a lot of shit riding on it. But I wouldn't put like the weight of the world on the shoulders of this film because it's not, like I said, the source material is the world, the way we've moved on from it in all these years. It's unfair to judge it based on what you've already seen from other people because those people were doing some shit that they made up. It's like I don't like looking at old Michael Jordan. Not me personally, but it's like if you tell a teenager, "Hey, Michael Jordan's way better than Kobe and LeBron," and that motherfucker don't want to watch the old Michael Jordan footage because he saw all the moves because of Kobe.
I see.
You
Right.
know what I mean? And it's like, motherfucker, this Michael Jordan. Like, you
Right.
know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah,
I
but
got
in his mind, I
in his
haven't
mind, it's
seen
like,
him.
motherfucker, I don't.
I didn't know
That
he
motherfucker is
existed.
just playing like Kobe, and Kobe
Yeah.
did it better because it was in HD, and LeBron did it better than Kobe because it's in 4K. So it
None
is
of
what it
those
is.
statements are true. I just want to go on record here on the
I want to
podcast.
be fair. I shouldn't have said that shit out
That I
loud
don't
myself.
appreciate that on the podcast. We're gonna have to revisit having guests on here, Jeremy, going forward because that is some unacceptable shit.
Hey, listen, I
Even
didn't mean a
jesting.
word of it.
Okay, good.
I didn't mean a word of it.
Yeah, LeBron and whatever.
No,
I won't disparage
no.
Kobe. That was tragic, but LeBron, him and his magic hairline can go fuck itself.
Yeah, it's weird because I was just talking about his fucking hair yesterday. My wife was like, "LeBron got surgery on his brain." I
On
said,
his
"Yep."
brain.
I said, "Yeah, fucking brain surgery. They try to give him a clutch gene.
Ooh,
Yeah,
burn.
it's a deep cut there,
Right.
and that's a double entendre. But don't even think about that too long. But anyhow,
Okay, well, I guess we're gonna wrap it up then.
I
That
say an
sounds
hour
like
and 40 minutes.
that seems
might
like
be
might be a bit
little
much.
long, yeah.
Might be a bit much for
Try to
this.
keep it around an hour.
So,
I
anyway,
mean,
take
the
out
conversation
parts
could
while
get
I was chewing.
the conversation could get away from us.
and but that's kind of what we do
I
on
like
here.
it. I do. I like the way that went. I like
Yeah,
the
we're
way.
I'm glad I
happy?
didn't.
You're
I'm,
happy
I'm
with that?
glad you guys called me. I appreciate it, man. I like talking about movies and shit.
Well, we're planning on doing a lot more of it. So
Yeah, now that we have a setup that works, we're going to do this, especially with the ability to do the live stream like this. I mean, check it
Okay.
out on don'teva.com. If you're watching this already, you're already there. But, if you're listening on the podcast and you want to see the video version for some reason, we'll try to figure out in the future how to put other people into this to where like maybe we could have you use your phone and set it vertically and you could do you could be on the screen somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
So I'd like to nothing. It's going to be nothing but improved from here.
right.
So, but we're going
This
to
is
try
a
to do
very
this
rudimentary
weekly.
beginnings of a setup. Yeah.
Yeah, until we find a series that we know we're going to do in its completion, there will be one feed on Apple Podcasts. There's still the old How to Watch TV Chronologically Lost with Jenna and I, which is worth listening to if you ever want to watch through Chronologically Lost. But the new one's just going to be the
definitely
How to
will.
Watch TV feed, and that's just what we're going to call it, right? Just How to Watch
How to watch
TV.
TV, and then like you said, if we end up going like say okay, for example, when I guess the only one I can think of right now is House of the Dragon comes out. We probably will do that one.
What's House? Oh, the Game of Thrones.
Game of
yeah.
Thrones.
Right. To
Yeah, that might get its own feed.
its own feeds where we do that episode
But
by
weekly, we're just going to talk about something,
episode. Right.
and we'll try to keep it topical, and so it's not like we're going to come on here and I'm going to talk about how I just finished watching House. Like that doesn't make sense to come on here and talk about. But
The current entertainment.
yeah,
that's coming
current
out or
stuff that
whatever,
we're watching. We'll try to make sure we watch something new each week, or whatever.
There's a couple of the Eternals movies coming out. That's probably one of the next things I'd like to talk about. But that's another week or so before that comes out. But I
Hearing
definitely
it's
would.
supposed to be pretty good.
I'm hearing it's good too. And I've literally been staying off of YouTube and shit to try to stay spoiler free on Venom and Carnage and fucking.
I already got spoiled for Venom.
I don't care about Venom. I don't know why. It just doesn't do anything for me.
Well, I think there's MCU implications to the end.
I mean, just quit teasing it. Just
I don't
do
know.
it or don't. I
Yeah.
don't care anymore about the back and forth. Will they? Won't they? It's like
Well, I do. That's like that's the fun
just
of it.
get
That's why they're
to
doing
it already. I
Anyway.
mean, how long do we have to wait
So
for this shit?
can you hear Joel like at a Mormon church influencing? Like, never mind.
Go
I
on.
won't
No, no,
even
no.
go
I
into
want to
that.
hear. I want to hear the rest of it. I would definitely want to hear the rest of it.
The Mormons have a sexual practice called soaking,
Uh huh.
where basically there's insertion, but there's no movement.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know why when you said that, what you were saying, like just do it already. I'm tired of all the back and forth. That's the first thing that popped in my
Yeah,
head.
fair enough. Yeah, you're just teasing it.
It's,
Just go
it's
for it. Yeah, I hear you. It's
like
Get your
Joe
son
was
on the
like,
podcast.
yeah, I know Sawyer's listening to the podcast, so I
Some
was
very interesting
deflecting away.
thoughts. Yeah.
Oh, what
"Oh,
is he?
how
Is
old is
he?
he? I'm sorry."
He's
So-
12.
He just said,
Ah, shit.
What did he say?
here's Sawyer's thoughts on movies. Movies are just lazy plots about saving the world and always trying to fit in the current crowd, and
It's actually really cringe.
cringe and god awful, and I laugh at pathetic, and it's pathetic to see.
Okay, I kind of agree with that. Sometimes.
Most of it, yes,
Yeah.
man. I sometimes it does. I agree with him.
What else we got here? Sawyer said, uh,
Hey, Dad, can you read out what we said? We just did, buddy.
Yeah.
Right there.
he said, wait, why are we going into horror movie territory? Why are you guys speaking so much truth at this moment? It shows you can be much more invested in the show than in a movie. Shows give you a
So he was commenting when we were talking about
I think he meant to say concurrent plot about certain situations and story, and it's more drawn out than movies. Yeah.
it. Yeah, for
Which
sure.
is, yeah.
That's why
true.
I've always liked TV better. That's why this is called How to Watch TV and not How to Watch Movies, because TV is my preferred medium for storytelling visually. That's
True. I understand.
li-
I agree with that.
bite-sized little chunks of it that can tell a bigger story or can be standalone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
That's why the MCU is so like profoundly higher than other movie franchises and shit. It's because they did long form TV style storytelling over a period of like 10 plus years
But each one
with the same
individually
character.
was relatively interesting.
And
What
self-contained.
I'm saying is
Yeah.
like you had actual character arcs over a 10-year span.
Yes.
They knew what
And
they were
this is
doing.
like the longest fucking TV show in the history of mankind. Well, not the longest.
Right, The
Saturday Night
Simpsons
Live.
is still on.
Right.
But yeah, it was pretty good, and I like that. I think that's why a lot of people connected to it. It's because they told a long ass story and they believed in it, and they still telling it. So I mean, shit.
Yeah, I'm still in, fully in, and more in than I probably ever was.
I wish I was caught up, and I know
can't
that
tell that joke.
it's easy to get caught up, I guess, but
That's
I
what she
never sit down and like watch it. I'm somewhere in Age of Ultron.
What?
In trying to we went to the beginning and
rewatch.
no,
Okay.
no, not a
Yeah.
rewatch, a watch.
Yeah.
I went to the beginning to start there because my buddy made me go to see Infinity War,
Okay.
and that was the first one I had sat down and watched. And like
What the fuck?
and then I went with him to
Yeah,
see
man, I had no
Endgame or
explanation.
something. I don't know, but so like it's but I didn't know enough going into those movies for it to all
Do you read comics, or did you read
No.
comics as a kid?
no,
Oh yeah. Well, you wouldn't be that interested in it.
no.
I can understand that.
It all feels like a lot of just superhero-y stuff and like
I think it's a lot deeper than that. I think your DC stuff is all your just superhero-y stuff. I don't know.
Well,
I think Marvel did a
DC
really good job of making it. more
why
than
is that the only kind of successful movie we can get nowadays? Is like the Marvel style superhero thing. Like it
Be-
feels like everybody's just at least trying to glom off of that.
Right. That's
Success.
a whole nother
I know.
2-hour fucking podcast.
So,
that we could
anyways,
have on
yeah,
that.
we're gonna get out of here before we
Yeah.
do this all night. I am going adventuring tomorrow. If anybody likes adventuring stuff, go to don'teva.com and check out the Lost to Time playlist. We go explore abandoned buildings and whatnot, usually in and around Gary, but we've gone further than that. Gonna go out tomorrow with Steel City Storm and Big Tone, probably Steve as well. What you got? Anything you want to plug?
No. I mean,
No,
9
you
Mile
don't have
Branding.
a company that you
I
want to
have
plug?
9milebranding.com if you need any kind of signs or business cards or graphic design.
Okay, you can wrap cars and stuff.
Wraps cars and stuff, yeah.
Yeah, all that good stuff. What about you, Dre? You got anything to promote? What are you plugging?
Well, you guys are based in Indiana, so I don't want to cross any legal borders here, but I am plugging my school for cannabis education. It's called AB Cannabis Training, and we'll be opening in the next month or so, training people to get certified to work in the cannabis industry.
Okay.
It's awesome.
Is there a website?
I will give that out at a later date when it's up and running right.
Fair enough.
Right.
Well, Sawyer
do
has
not
one
want
more
people going
comment
there
here.
now.
What did he say? You guys should watch Tread. It's a documentary movie, and it would be an interesting episode to greenlight a important spotlight and an event in history, and it's a great movie in my opinion. I have no idea what that is.
Me either. Hey, we can check it out.
Tread?
Look at it, lighten up our comment section.
Wait a
here.
minute. Tread?
Yeah,
About the sentient tire?
I genuinely have no idea.
You know, I just heard about a documentary about tires or something.
He said it's a documentary. It can't be about a
Oh,
sentient
okay.
tire.
I was halfway paying attention. I was like,
A documentary about a sentient
hey,
tire.
wait a minute. You never know. You just never fucking know.
You don't.
We fucking midichlorians, man.
Until next time.
Right.
I'll, whatever. Thanks for watching, and, we'll be back.
Listening, yeah, we'll be back.
See you later.
Yep. Thanks, guys.
No problem, dude. Later.
Wait, how do I make this?